Attention to the crew of the commercial vessel Nostromo. A word of warning.
Hey everyone, it's Jonathan, and today Sam and I are back with another combined two-part episode. This time we're talking about Ridley Scott's Alien and its first sequel, James Cameron's Aliens. Sam had tried to get me to watch these movies for ages, but like Jaws, I'd shied away from them for years, partially because I kind of have an aversion to blood and gore. The aversion is not as strong as it used to be, probably partially thanks to Sam convincing me to watch movies like these, though I still definitely don't seek out gore for gore's sake, but I'm more tolerant of it now, as long as I get a good story to go along with it, and these movies definitely deliver in that department. I will say, though, that as of right now, we have no plans to go beyond these two in the Aliens franchise. Sam is very much a purist, she hates Alien 3, and has very little love for most anything after that. I'm not opposed to seeing more, though if I ever cover them for the podcast, it would likely be with someone else, though from her description of Alien 3, I'm not looking forward to catching up on that one at all. I am a completionist, so I wouldn't skip it, but it would be my very least anticipated of anything. My most anticipated, probably the recent Alien Earth TV series. I keep hearing good things about it, and that more than anything would be why I'd want to catch up. But as of right now, I have no plans. Anyway, we're not talking about those. Today we are talking about the original movies that kicked off this franchise, Alien from 1979 and Aliens from 1986. Well, first, when did you first watch this?
I was probably 6. I asked my mom last night, and I'm like, when do you think I first watched Alien and Aliens? I'm like, do you think I was like 10, like 4 or 6? She goes, knowing you were 6, because you always snuck into the room when we were watching horror movies. We couldn't stop you from watching them. I'm like, I'm thinking probably 6.
Okay.
Yeah, because that one came out in 79, and then Aliens came out when I was 3, so I may have watched the second one when I was 6 as well. But either way, I was a little young, but it really really fueled my love for old horror movies. You know, and I'm going to say, when you texted me last night, I need to watch the movies again. I'm like, you're so much better than me. I didn't rewatch one of them. I was like...
Well, you're probably more familiar with them.
I know, I was like, I should watch those too. And then I'm like, nah. I got it. I'll wing it. It'll be fine. I remember those movies.
I ended up watching them. Alien I'd watched twice already, so I watched it on 4x speed.
Oh, that was entertaining.
I couldn't understand a thing they were saying, but I just wanted to make sure I got everything in order in my notes.
Right.
And then I watched Aliens on double speed, because I'd only seen that one once.
Mm-hmm. Such a good movie.
So I've now been refreshed.
Refreshed with the xenomorphs. And just so we're clear, I have no interest in doing Alien 3.
The way you've talked about them, I kind of figured that.
And I am not touching Alien Resurrection, the 4th one. It's a dumpster fire. It's complete garbage. Okay. It's just a horrible movie. It really is bad. I think I saw it in theater, and I remember just being like, what happened to my franchise? Like, if you want to see what happens when a franchise goes too far. And then there's the prequels. Prometheus, which is fine. I fell asleep. And then there's Alien.
That's better than being furious with the movie.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at it. I mean, I could be mad at it, but I just thought it wasn't necessary, and it doesn't go with the timeline. Then there's Alien Covenant, which I have not watched. My dad loves it. He says it's great, but he likes just about anything that's got action that he doesn't fall asleep during. And I know that they have a next one in the works. It's untitled. And then there's the Alien vs. Predator movies, 1 and 2, which are fun, but they're not good.
Okay.
They're PG-13, which, I mean, you can do an Alien movie PG-13. Like, the first one is R-rated for just a certain couple of scenes. It's not, like, graphically gory.
Mm-hmm. With the first one, I think they could have just clipped 1 or 2 things here and there. Well, if PG-13 even existed at that point. It didn't exist at that point.
No, PG-13 didn't start until... Well, I don't know.
I think it was after 1986, because 86, isn't that when Gremlins came out? And Gremlins was the catalyst.
It was Indiana Jones 2.
Well, both of them.
Yeah, both of them together.
Yeah.
Because Indiana Jones was fine, and then Indiana Jones 2, you got ripping hearts out of chests and eating monkey brains and And then Gremlins was advertised without the Gremlins. It just showed Gizmo. And so people brought their kids. And so PG-13 was born, because Jaws is PG. Which...
It would not be today.
No, it would not. So, yeah. I think, though, in order for Alien to be a PG-13, you'd have to take out that chestburster scene. It's a lot.
Yeah, or cut around it in a different way. Which
would ruin it, because the whole point of it being so fantastic, you know how I feel, is that they don't cut away. But, anyway.
Well, I suppose I should say, for the listeners, I didn't watch this until last year, because you wanted to watch it with me.
Yeah, I said, you need to watch this. It's one of the best movies ever. We gotta watch it. So, which I know you thought it was fine. You thought it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's one of those, like, movies kind of like Halloween and stuff where it's kind of overhyped. Because I can tell, like, when I watched it with you, I kind of put myself in your shoes of how you saw it as opposed to somebody like me who's been watching it since I was little and just loves the series. You know, because, like, the part of the, you know, scenes with the alien are a little, like, it's a dude in a suit. You can tell. But if you watch, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff, when you see them putting this guy, I can't pronounce his name.
I wrote it down.
Valhalla.
I was going to say Balaji Badejo, but I don't know.
The Badejo, I think, is right. But he was, like, 7 feet tall.
I think I wrote that somewhere, too.
Yeah, and, like, when you see him in this...
6'10"
Yeah, round up.
7 feet tall.
I'm sure with the boots of the alien, probably. But, like, when you see the behind the scenes of him just sitting in the whole costume, it's just looks amazing. Like, it's really a work of art, what they created.
Yeah, I should have watched some behind-the-scenes stuff. That would have been interesting.
That's the kind of stuff I watch when I can't sleep at night. So I'm just like, oh, behind the scenes on how they made it? Hell yeah, I want to learn more. Tell me how they did it.
I used to be, like, so into behind-the-scenes stuff, but the past few years I've kind of gotten out of it, which is kind of ironic since I started getting into podcasting.
Right, and talking about
more
movies.
Of that stuff.
Yep.
But, like, when I was a teenager, when DVDs first came out and you got behind-the-scenes stuff, I was obsessed with all that. Like, watch every single special feature. Watched all, like, if I didn't watch all of the extended edition Lord of the Rings special features, I watched most of them. And that's like hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of stuff.
It is. And actually, funny enough, I don't watch the behind-the-scenes stuff on DVD. It's more like something, like I said, if I can't sleep, I'm going to watch it like when I'm in bed, or if I'm like laying on the couch or something. Like if I put the DVD in, I want to watch the movie. Which I feel bad because I know some movies have really good, hilarious commentary, but I just find it online because I'm lazy.
Yeah. Well, I guess to start, we can go through the characters. There's not very many in the first film.
Yep, I made a note of that there's 7 main characters, then a cat, and then 8 if you count the guy who played the alien, and then 9 if you count the voice of Mother. So there's only 7. It's a very small cast.
Which I think works to its benefit. But trying to pick a favorite between the two,
it's difficult.
Yeah, the biggest point in the favor of the original is the cast. I liked the cast way better than I liked the cast of Aliens. Well,
the cast of Aliens, it's cannon fodder.
I was gonna say I kind of hated most of them.
I mean, and I loved a lot of them. But they're there to die.
That's kind of what I figured. I was watching and I was like, why did they write these people so annoyingly? And then I was like, they're all going to die.
Yeah, they're going to die. But yeah, like the first movie, like it was like Ridley Scott's, I think, first big movie was Alien, because he directed commercials and music videos, I think, before that. So he did a lot of the storyboards and stuff himself. And so his original budget was like $4 million. And then after they started seeing the script and stuff, then they bumped it up to $11 million. Thank God. I can't imagine how they would have made it on 4.
No.
Because the money didn't go to the cast. Because most of these people, I mean, like, yeah, Sir Ian Holm and John Hurt were pretty famous actors. But in, like, Sigourney Weaver, I think this was, like, her big breakout role. But they weren't like they are now, where you're going to get $5 million a movie and most of your budget's paying for your cast. Like an Avengers movie where it's $800 million to pay for your actors and then make a cartoon, basically, because of the animation.
Yeah, kind of. Because when I was watching it, I was thinking, this looks so good because of the sets.
Yes.
Like, the sets are what makes this.
Well, did you look up H.R. Geiger?
I have in the past. I didn't when I was making my notes.
He was the part of the special effects crew, and he's the one who designed the xenomorph. Mm-hmm. And he did all the artwork. It was his artwork that you see, like, when they go to the planet, and you see, like, the xenomorph artwork and stuff. And they almost weren't able to hire him because his artwork is so very disturbing and sexual. It's like a hard mix of erotica and body horror. That originally, when he started designing stuff, the studio was like, what is this? No. But they fought for it because they're like, no. This is going to be great.
Well, with the way it ended up looking, I mean, yeah, you can still see that kind of stuff in there, but it's so alien that it's, I mean, it's alien.
Which
for aliens.
Is ironic since I think the part of the xenomorph process is based off actual wasps. There's a species of wasp that inject their eggs into another insect, and then when the eggs hatch, they eat their way out.
Oh, well, that's horrifying.
Which adds to the horror of the alien, that it's like, it's based on kind of a real thing that actually happens in nature, instead of being something purely alien that would never happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, unless you're an insect, it's not going to happen to you. But
there's so many things that happen to insects that would be absolutely nightmarish if it was on a human level.
Don't ever Google botflies. Don't ever.
I feel like I have. I think I've wiped most of that out of my memory.
Sorry,
I don't want to go
bring
back
up
to
triggering insect moments. But yeah, I think the budget and the small cast really is what really made Alien what it is. And a lot of movies, if you'll notice, the first movie, a lot of times there's not going to be a lot of guns because they're big, they're budget. Like in the first Deadpool movie, he fights mostly with his swords. And there's a whole joke about how he has 12 bullets and they have to make him work. And when I originally watched Alien, I kind of thought that was why they don't have guns to use mostly. But they said that throughout filming, they thought of that. They're like, why wouldn't you shoot the alien? And that's when they wrote in the acid blood. They wrote that in later after they had started filming and stuff. Because they needed a good excuse. Why wouldn't you shoot it? Which, yeah, you're in space. Why wouldn't you shoot it? And I think somebody said that because it's a mining corp ship.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
That they didn't have guns. But you'd think they might have something for self-defense. But they wrote in the acid blood because they're like, well, this is the perfect thing to keep you from shooting it. Which in the second one, the Marines find out real fast. Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, let's go through the cast. Of course, we have Sigourney Weaver.
Yep, as Ripley.
And she's probably, of course, my favorite character. I don't know why she wouldn't be anybody's favorite.
Yeah, she's like, and she's the only one who follows protocol, which is why she lives.
Yeah. And she has a cat.
Jonesy. Everybody likes Jones. Though a lot of people died for that cat. I don't know, man. I like cats too, but...
That's true.
Like,
that's the one guy who was like searching for the cat, and that's when he got caught.
Brett. Yep,
okay.
He's the one that he gets taken up the wire. And then there's Tom Skerritt as Dallas, the captain, who is like probably everybody's like second favorite character. Because
he looked vaguely familiar, but I don't know what I would have seen him in.
I guess I didn't even look to see what else. And then there's Veronica Cartwright, who was Lambert. I love that when they were casting for Alien, they purposely did not put genders or first names on the casting list. They just had their surnames, which is why they call each other by their surnames through the whole show. That way, when they wrote the script, they weren't purposely leaning toward a female character or a person of color or this. They just wrote it as they would write it, and then they picked whoever auditioned for the parts, they picked them for the parts. Though I think it was originally always planned that Ripley would be a woman. But I
could see that, but there's no reason the rest of them need to be something specific.
No, that's why they just did surnames, and you don't even find out their first names until Aliens when they're talking about the crew of the Nostromo and who died.
Okay.
And I thought that was a really smart way to write a script because then you don't have a lot of, everybody just talks the same. And of course, the famous John Hurt as Kane and Ian Holm as Ash.
Yes, of course. Those are the two people that I knew from other things.
Yep.
John Hurt I knew from Doctor Who because
Yep.
he's the War Doctor.
Yep.
And Ian Holm, of course, is Bilbo Baggins.
Yep. What? John Hurt, what else was he in? Besides everything. I'm trying to think what I knew him from. I know it wasn't Doctor Who. I knew him from things other than Doctor Who. Because I was like, hey, it's that guy. I know it was something old, obviously. Something I probably watched as a kid when I wasn't supposed to.
He was in the old Lord of the Rings.
Maybe it was that. He was a voice actor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Watership Down.
I see. I have never actually fully watched Watership Down.
I haven't either, but they're on my list of when I get my animation podcast off the ground. Those are going to be one of the ones that I've got to do. Oh, he was the Horned King in the Black Cauldron.
I haven't fully watched that either, believe it
Neither
or not.
have I. That's one I've only got
Oh, well, yeah, he was in Spaceballs. He played Kane in Spaceballs.
Okay.
They have this scene where the chest burster comes out. Maybe that's where
it was the same. He was the same character in that?
It was because
wow.
it was a whole big spoof.
I haven't seen that since I was a teenager, so I wouldn't have recognized.
I bet that's probably what I was thinking of him from was Spaceballs, because I was like, hey, that guy looks... Oh, and Hellboy. That's right. He was Professor Broom in Hellboy. That was probably the big thing, because I loved that first movie. And then he was Ollivander in Harry Potter, and he was in V for Vendetta, then he was in Hellboy 2, and he was in Indiana Jones, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's just not a good movie. Yeah, it must have been Harry Potter, Spaceballs, and Hellboy that I recognized him from, because, I mean, his filmography is big. He's done a lot. And then there's I think it's Yaphet Kotto, who was Parker, one of the mechs, who personally, other than Ripley, was my favorite character, because he was just, I don't know, he was entertaining to watch. He wasn't, none of the characters are one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. They all have personalities. Though I think my least favorite is probably Lambert. I don't know why. I just don't think she quite jumped off the screen for me as much.
I kind of forgot about her until I rewatched it last night.
I think of all the characters, she's kind of the most forgettable one.
Yeah, she doesn't do a whole lot.
Other than scream when the chest burster comes out, which... But, they all can't equally shine. There's always going to be ones that outshine the others. Mm-hmm. So...
I thought it was interesting. The ship's computer is voiced by someone named Helen Horton. Mm-hmm. And I looked her up, and she's the grandmother of Lily James. Oh. Who, whenever this comes out, I'll have just done a movie with her. We covered the remake of Cinderella. Oh. That'll be like a couple episodes before this.
Yeah, I saw that too, but the name didn't jump off the page for me, because it's not like when you watch Aquaman and it's Mary Poppins as...
That's true.
The sea monster.
It probably jumped out. I probably wouldn't have noticed, except I had just done Cinderella when I looked it up, and so that name popped out at me.
Yep. And then the three cats that played Jones, but I didn't look their names up. I just know there were three.
And one thing that I liked about the cast, too, is that no one was particularly young.
No.
Like, they were all, like, middle-aged.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how old Sigourney Weaver was, but the rest of them, they're probably at least 30 or 40.
Yeah. There's no teenagers. Mm-hmm. You don't get any of the teenage drama or squabbles or anything like that, because they're all adults, and they've worked together for years. They're professionals.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that I saw described them as truckers in space. Which they kind of are.
Pretty accurate, actually. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Ridley Scott was kind of leaning towards that. Mm-hmm. Because that's how they act. They're doing their job. They're driving their giant ship. And their U.S. cargo starship, the Nostromo, which is Italian.
I think the name came from a book,
Yep.
but I don't know what the book is.
It's called Nostromo.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess a lot of the alien ships are named after this particular author, who I did not write his name, his books. Because in Aliens... their ship is named after the town that the Nostromo book takes place in.
Okay. One thing that I liked about the film was how it opens. It's like so quiet, and it's just kind of like exploring the ship for a while.
Yep.
I thought that was really cool. It reminded me of, you probably haven't even seen it. There's like a little 2-episode miniseries on Disney Plus that, what's it called? It's like Star Wars Vehicle Fly-Throughs or something.
Oh, nope, I haven't seen it.
It explores the Millennium Falcon and a Star Destroyer.
Oh, it just goes through the halls?
Going through the halls. And you just are looking at all the stuff that you don't normally get a close-up of in the movies. And then, of course, there's like the ambient noise of the ship around. It's just really cool. And that's kind of reminded me of that.
I might have to look that up because that sounds like something I would like to watch just because I love all the details that they have in those. Oh, Jerry Goldsmith did the music for Alien.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a very quiet.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of ambient noise, especially during the more tense scenes, because that's what makes it tense. You don't need a music riff leading you up to a jump scare. You just want to, especially at the end when she's going through the halls and all the steam and everything's beeping and the flashing lights and the flamethrower, and it's just her steps, and like you listening, like, where is it? Where's the alien? It's got to be here. So where is it?
Yeah, I really like stuff like that. And then when you meet the characters, they're in stasis. And I thought it was just kind of weird that they're all in their underwear. I don't know
originally they were supposed to be naked, so.
But even that, I don't feel like either of that really makes sense. Like, why do you need to have your clothes off when you're frozen?
I don't know. Maybe you sweat in your sleep or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
Or maybe depending how
you're still sweating on the blankets underneath.
True. Maybe it's carbon clean. Yeah. All I know is originally they're supposed to be naked, and then the studio was like, nope, that's too close to pornography. Nowadays it wouldn't be, but back then they're like, no go, put them in their undies.
We're already letting you have the alien, man.
Yeah, we're letting you have all this really weird artwork that looks like something either out of your worst dreams or your best dreams, depending how you look at stuff. We're having this weird artwork on the wall, and you got these weird aliens that do things to people, so we're not letting you have the nudity, sorry.
So the main crux of the film is that they detect a transmission from, I'm not sure if it's a moon or a planet, but it's called LV-426.
Yep. I don't think it's not called that at the time, I don't think. They name it in Aliens because they go and colonize it.
I couldn't remember what it was, so I had to look it up to write it down. So maybe they didn't say it.
Yeah. See, I should have rewatched it. I don't think they say it because I think it's in the second one when they're telling her, well, we've had people there for years, that they say the name of the planet, and she's just like, what? So, but yeah, they pick up a distress signal, and protocol is that they have to, investigate, even though we all know after you watch it, it's probably all a setup by
I wondered
Ash,
about that, yeah.
That they purposely went by here, because the Wayland, is it Wayland?
Wayland Yulani. I should have written it down. I don't think I heard anyone say it.
I wrote it.
But I saw it in...
The Wayland-Yutani Corporation, which is basically like the background villain of all these movies. They know something's there, which is because Ash has orders to bring it back. But we don't really learn when he gets these orders. Like, does he get it when they pick up the signal, or was he always programmed?
That's what I couldn't figure out, because it shows him on the computer, so I didn't know if he was like receiving a secret transmission at that point, or if he already knew something.
Yeah, if like but they don't say they were off course, so it's not like the ship was reprogrammed to go by this particular place on their way back, because they're coming home, because they have like, their ships full of ore or iron or something, whatever they were mining for. So I'm sure, like in the comic books somewhere in the deeper lore,
there's probably a deep explanation somewhere.
Yeah, because this movie launched a massive franchise of there's 6 movies. Like I said, I think 5 with 1 in the works. There's comic books. There's video games. There's just it's kind of like the way Star Wars, once it got to be books and comic books and video games, how the lore just exploded. Which is part of the reason why Prometheus and stuff just doesn't work for me. Because the lore just doesn't add up. But anyway. But yeah, so they get this signal they have to go investigate.
And this is probably stuff that you probably know at this point. Because when they investigate, they find a crashed alien ship with this giant thing.
Yeah.
So you probably know what this thing is, and I
Oh, it's an engineer. That's what they're called.
Okay.
They're named later on. That's kind of what Prometheus goes into, as the engineers, which just doesn't work out for me. But yeah, they find the crashed ship. I know it's got a name. I did not write that one down. And they, put on their little suits and go in and check it out. And you can see when they're climbing around the engineer and the signal's going off, at that time they think it's a distress signal. Mm-hmm. They find out later it's not.
It's a warning.
It's a warning. But you can see on the dead engineer, his chest is burst open. Mm. So he had one of those things in him, and that's when he sent out the warning. And then he died. Mm-hmm. Because, you don't usually come back from something bursting out of you. Mm-hmm. Even if you're that big.
Yeah. I love, backstory and lore and stuff. Even though I can see why they would want to add that stuff, and I think technically it's a good idea just because it's cool to find out stuff like that. I did like that was just never explained. Yeah. It's just kind of cool that they found this giant alien and they know nothing about it, and they can't know anything about it. There's no way for them to know anything about it.
No, and set up in this universe, as far as I know from these movies and stuff, there are no aliens. It's kind of like Firefly. It's just them. Hmm. So when they find this big thing, they're like, what is it? Mm-hmm. Because, as far as we know, there haven't been any other aliens discovered that they had ever seen, because they don't talk about it. They don't look at it and be like, oh, this is an engineer, or this looks like this thing. As far as I know, in that universe, the only thing out there is us. Mm-hmm. And also at the time, I don't think they realized what they were starting.
Probably.
It's not like Star Wars, which had a planned out trilogy, kind of. It was just one movie.
Yeah.
And it was the start of it. They weren't pulling from there weren't any comic books beforehand. This was all original. Mm-hmm. And they were just kind of going from there. We're not going to go and explain stuff because this is a horror movie. Mm-hmm. And we want to get to the horror, Mm-hmm. So, and the less you know, the scarier it is. Yeah.
And for this movie, I think it was a good choice. Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of cool that you just never know. Even though it does raise questions that, in hindsight, it's like, I kind of want to know where that thing came from.
Yeah, and that's...
for the movie, I think it's cool that you
don't know. And then once you do get your answer, you're disappointed.
Yeah, that's kind of with a lot of things.
Yeah. They do kind of explore that, but I don't want to get into it because I haven't watched those movies very much. I think I watched Prometheus once, and like I said, I fell asleep. I haven't watched Covenant, but I've read the spoiler reviews. I've watched the movie breakdowns, and I'm just like, nah, I'll stick with the first two and call it good.
Well, besides this giant alien, they also find a huge nest, and Kane gets too close to an egg.
Like a good scientist.
Yeah. The eggs, I thought, the design was really interesting because you could sort of see through them. You could see this thing kind of swimming around. And the top of the egg is almost hinged.
The derelict. Sorry. That's the alien ship.
Oh, okay.
Well, are the planets the derelict? Okay, the derelict on Achurion LV-426. Okay, so yeah, it's the derelict by the alien juggernaut. Okay. Sorry. I had to look. It was driving me nuts. So the egg nest, yes.
Yeah, I like the idea of the egg not really needing to break. It just kind of hinges open. Uh-huh. The egg reminded me of something, but I don't know what.
Well...
It probably has been parodied in something that I'm vaguely remembering.
Yeah, I think Alien's one of these things that just also, other than the lore and the sequels, the pop culture from Alien is also just... It's referenced in so much, and so many movies have tried to recapture that fearful feeling of the claustrophobia of the film and the intensity and all that stuff. So yeah, you've probably seen it in just pretty much anything that's going to have an egg opening. You're going to be like, that's Alien. But I like going back to H.R. Geiger and the special effects crew. When they filmed it, they used, of course, there's some puppeteer and the guy's in a suit. But to make the creature effects, they used almost all organic materials. So the egg, when it opens up and you see that in there, they used cow hearts and like sheep kidneys.
That makes sense because the point where they were like trying to
poke it,
operate on it, it looked very organy.
Well, the face hugger is made of oysters and shellfish and sheep kidneys.
Okay, I can see that.
Can you imagine how great that set smelled?
Probably awful.
With all because they used an assortment of animal guts and oysters, shellfish, sheep kidneys, guts, cow hearts, intestines. I bet it just smelled great. And then of course all the fake blood, which depending what kind of fake blood they used. Usually back then it was like corn syrup mixed with food coloring. Mm. But they may have used real blood if they already were going to the butcher for everything else, so.
Yeah, as gross as that is, it kind of makes sense because if you try especially back then, if you're trying to replicate like organic an actual life. Creature like that, it would look very fake. Well,
and it makes you appreciate it because you're like, oh my God, like that looks real. Like that looks like a real slimy creature in there because they used real stuff to make it.
Several real slimy creatures.
Yeah, there's a lot of slimy things in there to make it look real. They just kind of Frankensteined it together. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so then Kane decides to poke the bear, basically. Let's poke it. At least he didn't take his helmet off.
Well, in the end, that didn't help.
It didn't help, but
acided its way through.
Yeah, but so many movies, they're on an alien planet and they pop their helmet off. Oh, the air's breathable, but that doesn't mean it's safe.
That reminds me of like, I'm one of the few people, it seems like, who loves The Last Jedi, but that scene when they're on Crate and the guy licks the ground, I'm like, what?
Don't lick it.
Why did you taste the ground?
That would have been like Kane taking his helmet off. Let's give this a lick and see what it tastes like. Like, bro, no. Keep your helmet on. Don't lick things. You're a scientist.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we get the hand, the puppet of the face hugger comes crawling out and they kind of react like, oh, when in reality you'd think you'd scream.
Yeah.
And run. And then it, just breaks right through the helmet, attaches to his face.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting and kind of a cool touch, the tail on the thing, the way it wrapped around his neck, and it's sort of like, I don't know how they did it, but it looks like it's actually contracting and tightening around his neck.
Yeah, it's part of the way to, it's part of the face hugger's threat of, if you try to remove me, I'm going to suffocate the host. Which is why it's done that. Because if it didn't, it could easily just attach to the face and then, again, bringing back to the H.G. Geiger's original artwork and how a lot of the alien stuff is very disturbingly sexual, that it shoves its, thing down your throat to lay eggs in you, an egg in you. Mm. And if it wasn't worried about being ripped off, it wouldn't have to wrap its tail around. But that's the way it keeps anybody from just pulling it off their face.
So does it lay an egg or does it put a fetus in you? Because I saw online, the one thing I was reading described it as it makes you the egg.
Well, I kind of wonder if it's back to the wasp thing where they inject an egg or eggs and then the eggs hatch and they eat their way out. So I don't know. I guess every time in some of the later movies, they show the chest burster in the chest before it comes out, but they've never shown it hatching from an egg. So it could be a tiny fetus, kind of like how pandas are born. Just a tiny little pink thing.
Yeah.
And, that could be it too.
Well, I feel like it would make more sense for it not to be an egg because they've already had one egg in the stage.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, that the life cycle of this thing is so strange. It's like it has an in-between creature because normally like a thing lays an egg and then...
Well, it's like a butterfly. Butterfly comes from an egg.
Oh, yeah.
And then is a caterpillar and goes into a cocoon and comes out as a butterfly.
That's true.
But without the blood and gore of the xenomorph.
Well, depending on the butterfly, it can look kind of bloody.
Yeah, true. They don't look the best. But, Yeah, it is a very unique, and I think that's part of the scariness too, is it's like,
It's very inhuman.
Yeah, because you go from egg to facehugger to chest burster, which is basically just a baby alien. It's just the name. And then it grows up into the xenomorph, which, you know, they're a colony kind of like ants. There's the workers, and then there's the queen, who is in charge.
I'm kind of wondering now, I didn't think of this before. You meet the queen in the second one.
Yes.
But was she somewhere on that planet when they arrived the first time? Is she like 50 years old?
I don't think so. I think when the colony settled and they disrupt the nest, I'm guessing one of those face huggers impregnated a queen. And then so the queen came, you know, goes through the same life cycle as the workers. I mean, she
just grew bigger than the rest of them.
Well, in a lot of like insect colonies, like look at bees. The queen bee's way bigger than all the workers.
Yeah.
Ants, I think, are the same way. You know, even a lot of animals, the females are bigger. Like great white sharks, the females are always bigger because they have, you know, they're full of eggs and
anglerfish.
Yeah.
The male basically becomes a tiny little organ attached to the female.
Well, like, look at my guppies. My males look bigger than my females, but it's because they're all fin. It's like the females are bigger. It's a lot of species are like that. But that would be my guess is, unless she was in hibernation, which is possible, I'm guessing that when they disrupted those eggs, just one just happened to be a queen.
Okay. That makes sense. But yeah, he has the face hugger, and they go back. And Ripley is like the only person who wants to like actually follow the rules and not bring him onto the ship.
Yeah, she's like, no, that's against protocol. He's got something on his face.
And Ash, the character played by Ian Holm, disobeys this. He makes them bring him in. And they try and get this thing off, but it ends up bleeding acid through several floors. And they didn't, I don't know how far down they followed it, but I was wondering, did it like eat all the way through to the bottom of the ship and now there's just a hole into outer space?
No, I think eventually it just kind of stopped because it
would get watered down.
Yeah, I think it just, you know, because it's like it goes, but each floor it burns through, a little less falls through the next floor.
Okay.
That'd be my guess. Because I always thought that too. Because I was like, well, shouldn't it like eat the whole ship and have like a hole out the bottom? But then it would become less and less as it falls. Yeah. So, because if we had a hole in the bottom of the ship, well, then the mouse just end the movie.
But yeah, they can't get it off, but it eventually detaches on its own, and he seems fine the next day. Of course, he's not, because they go to eat, and he like has a seizure, and you get probably the most famous scene from the movie.
Yep. I like that when John Hurt, when they filmed this scene, his acting for his choking and the seizure were so good that the rest of the cast around him like legit thought he was choking on food and having a seizure. They were like, what's happening? You know, and it's a good scene. Like you watch it and it's very convincing. It's very convincing because you're like, help him. Like someone help him. And then, then we get to my favorite scene personally, where he collapses on the table and starts screaming and convulsing, and you see like the wetness under the shirt, and then all of a sudden we get an angry little baby and blood and guts squirt everywhere. And when they filmed this scene, they didn't tell the rest of the crew what was going to happen. I mean, obviously Kane, obviously they didn't have something burst out of his chest. Like his head was on the table and it was a fake body here, so that the puppeteers underneath could force this thing out. But they didn't tell the crew what was going to happen. They just said in the script, it says like the creature emerges. So, and they kept having to like start over because they couldn't get it to burst through right. So everybody kept getting closer because they're like, what's going on? So when it finally punches through and the blood squirts toward Lambert, her reaction's genuine. Because they didn't know that because it kept malfunctioning. So when it finally burst through, it was a little bit more forceful than they anticipated when they had his chest explode. So, because I imagine when they filmed the scene, the chest burster probably wasn't part of the burst. It was probably just a punch through with the blood squirting and spraying everywhere. But their reactions of like pure horror were real because they didn't realize that was actually going to happen. Which I love. Makes it all the better.
Well, I guess that's one way to get a genuine response out of someone.
Yeah, something's going to happen, but we're not going to tell you what. And then it's also not going to work right away, so come closer. You imagine watching that scene when you're 6? Yep, that was me.
I would have been traumatized. I
don't think I was.
I was traumatized by the scene in Aladdin where the genie says he can't bring people back from the dead and he turns into a zombie.
Oh my. Well, I used to hide behind the couch when the Abominable showed up in Rudolph. Watch Predator and Alien, but the Abominable, I think it was the eyes. They weren't quite right.
Different things scare different kids.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I just remember that. I mean, it's one of those scenes you don't forget because from a filmmaking standpoint, it's perfect. And especially once you learn what you learn about Ash later, when you watch it again and you watch him specifically, like...
Oh, I never thought to look for his reaction.
If you ever decide to watch Alien again, watch it again and just pay special attention to how Ash acts. Because it's, once you know, it's very different. You're like, oh, that is suspicious. But it was just subtle enough I didn't notice it the first time I watched it.
One thing about him that I noticed upon rewatches was him drinking milk.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know what that stuff is, but after you see the scene where he's revealed to be an android, you realize that wasn't milk.
And then in the filming, it actually was milk, and they said he hated milk, so they thought it was funny. And they used like cheap caviar and marbles and stuff to recreate his insides once, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but I love, how'd they do that? Oh, that's awesome.
I feel like knowing that kind of stuff makes the scenes better and less horrifying.
And I think it's best to know them after you've watched it. I think if you went in knowing everything, it wouldn't be nearly as fun.
Yeah. No, like when I first watched this, I didn't know that he was an android. I knew about the chest burster, of course.
Yeah,
But I didn't know that he was not human.
Yeah.
So...
And they don't really give it away until they, like, break his head off or whatever. Because you just think, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Why is he acting like that? Because, there's no clue that he's an android. They don't say it. Mm-hmm. They're like, this is our android. Yeah. He's not suspicious.
And he's very human-like.
Yes. Well, they also have a great actor playing him, too.
Yes, yeah.
He doesn't look weird. He looks like a normal guy. Mm-hmm. It's not like they had somebody who's a little off. Like, if it was like Tim Curry, and he had his, like, kind of weird expressions, you'd be like, yeah, that guy's not quite right.
Yeah.
But instead you have, Sir Ian Holm, who, I think he was a Sir. Was he knighted? Or was John Hurt knighted?
I want to say they both were, but I guess I don't know for sure.
I don't either. But, you have this great actor who, again, does not look...
Sir John Vincent Hurt.
Okay, so he was.
And Sir Ian Holm Cuthbert.
Okay. I thought so, because whenever I say Ian Holm, I'm like, pretty sure there's a Sir in front of that, kind of like Captain Jack Sparrow. There's a captain in there with Ian Holt and John Hurt. I'm like, I think there's a Sir in there. But, yeah, he's not suspicious at all when you watch the movie. Mm-hmm. But then... Yeah, so we get the chest burster, comes out, and then it takes off, zips out of there. And they're all too stunned to go after it, which you can't blame them. What just happened? You'd be in shock.
It would be like 5 minutes before I even processed.
Yeah, because it's
what
like...
I just witnessed.
You're not going to go chase it because you're like your friend's laying there dead. Everything's splattered with blood. And you're like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. And like I said, in this universe, as far as we know, there aren't aliens. So there's nothing for them to reference. They're just like, this is new and not normal. What the hell? What do we do now?
But yeah, they eventually decide to go hunt for this thing after they've given him a space funeral.
Yeah, shoop. Well, just like a ship.
Yeah.
They've just shoved, they didn't keep the bodies.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that.
No, that's not it, yeah.
I don't think they probably didn't even build a morgue onto the ship. They probably weren't thinking somebody was going to die.
No, I think a lot of ship movies, they like cremate them first and then they flush them out.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, just get it.
Or if it's a Viking, they cremate them while they're flushing them out.
But then in the case of Kane, the alien is gone, but that doesn't mean he's not still contaminated. So it's like, get it off the ship right now. We don't know what's left. We should have listened to Ripley.
They're hunting the creature, but the one guy, Brett, is looking for Jonesy, and he ends up finding a shed skin, which I'm wondering if they use like a snake skin for that thing, because it looked also very real.
Yeah, or like maybe even like cheesecloth.
I don't think it was cheesecloth, because I've used cheesecloth and it doesn't look plasticky like that.
Oh, yeah. There is a deleted scene where you see the xenomorph in their kitchen. It gets into the galley and it eats all their food.
Okay, that makes perfect sense, because that was my next question, because he eventually it finds him.
Yeah.
And it's huge. So I was thinking, how did it grow from this tiny little thing that could burst out of a human to this thing that towers over a human?
Yeah, it does grow a little too fast. Like, they don't give any indication that days have gone by, which they could have. But they don't specify days, but there is a deleted scene where it was in their galley and it ate all their food, because they go in there and it's trashed and they're like... I think there may have even been a scene where you see the little alien, but it didn't look very good. Like, the alien in this movie is only on scene for 4 minutes through the whole movie. It adds up to 4 minutes and that's it. Which is kind of like Jaws. It works out better that way.
Yeah, it's like Jaws. The less you see of it, the better.
Well, Jaws also had the problem with the shark just not working ever.
Yes.
But
that hides the flaws, too.
It does. So, yeah, there is a deleted scene where you see it a little bit bigger when it's starting to get its color. Mm-hmm. And it eats all the food in their kitchen. And then there's a second deleted scene before it takes Brett. And he's, washing his face in the water. And you see it. There's a deleted scene where you see it up there. And there's no jump scare. There's no music. It's just up there looking down at him. And it's just, again, with not having sound. Just the rattling of the chains and the dripping water. And it's black, so it kind of blends in. But when you see that moment, you're like, holy crap, there it is. So the one scene I wish that's from the director's cut that I wish was in this, because it gives you some perspective of it's right there and he doesn't even know it. And then it gets him.
That scene brings up another question I had, like, what is that water? Because not thinking about it, your brain just goes rain. But they're in space.
It's I imagine it's condensation.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's, the ships and stuff, they have like the air regulate.
Yeah.
And I imagine when you do that, there's going to be condensation, and it's probably just where it builds up and just drips down. Mm-hmm. And since it's a mining ship, maybe they have water stores or something.
Okay.
But my guess, it's probably just built up condensation or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think that's like where they shower, so.
There wasn't enough coming down for a shower, but he sort of showers in it. Like
he just washes his face off, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that could have been what drew the alien to that, too. Maybe it needed some water. And was like, well, hang
for
on.
Water and found a snack.
Yeah. That's like, but best of both worlds.
I'm glad I didn't get Jonesy, though, because Jonesy would have been a really easy little bite-sized thing.
I mean, I've seen videos of cats chase off bears. Maybe the alien took one look at that cat and was like, you know what? That's okay. It looks like a hateful little thing. I'll just get this human instead. It's easier.
The human doesn't have sharp, pointy things attached.
No. It won't claw me.
But yeah, he gets eaten, and the next step, I guess, is to go through the vents, which seemed like a bad idea to me, but Dallas goes through the vents, and he has a flamethrower, but that doesn't work.
No. And actually, the comment you made about Brett, it actually doesn't eat them. There's another deleted scene where Ripley's going through the ship with her flamethrower, and she finds Brett and Dallas cocooned to the wall, and they're just barely alive. Because this is what the aliens do, keep the host alive. So my guess is that this particular...
Oh, so was it planning to, like, become another queen and lay some eggs?
Well, or it was going to go get... My guess is maybe it was going to go get facehuggers and bring them back.
Okay.
But, yeah, there's a deleted scene where she finds them cocooned to the wall, barely alive, and then she flamethrowers them to put them out of their misery.
It seems like a really slow way to put somebody out of their misery.
Well, I think they were probably pretty close to death as is, but, yeah. So I don't know what it does to the other people. It could just have killed them. It doesn't need a whole lot of hosts for it to, start their colony back up. So, but yeah, it gets... And I will say, the moment that it does get Dallas is supposed to be a jump scare, but it's not. Because it's kind of like one of those moments where the alien throws its hands up like it's going to give him a hug.
Yeah, I remember. I remember what you're talking about.
I think it probably would have been more effective if we would have seen the head come out and then the second mouth, since they have the second mouths that come out, would have been a lot more effective. But it was a jump scare, and they're like, we have this whole alien costume, and you're not going to see it, so let's just, here you go. Grab him.
That reminds me, I was going to mention, too, the secondary mouth. That is also from real life.
Oh.
Moray eels.
Oh, yeah, they do, don't they?
Have a second mouth inside their throat, which is horrifying.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, I already hate moray eels. They look so creepy and... Ugh.
Oh, I like them. They always look like they're plotting something. And they're deep in thought about it. But they're not sure what they want to do. Yeah, you're right. They do have kind of a secondary. And I'm pretty sure there's probably some fish out there that do, too, because that's how they lure in other fish to eat. Yep.
Fish are like the next step from bugs as to what horrifying things can happen to them and through them.
Well, they live in very
alien
locations, which also would explain the xenomorph having all the strange things it does. So
yeah,
do what you got to do to survive.
Dallas is now gone, and this is where you find out that something's going on with Ash and the computer. And it's revealed that he's apparently been in contact with the company. They want the alien alive, and the crew is being deemed disposable.
Yep, the Weyland-Yutani Company, which I don't think they really mentioned too much in here, but it's in the lore that they're basically, like, the alien's not really the villain. It's just a creature. The real villain is the Weyland-Yutani Company who want these.
Yeah, and you especially get that in the next movie.
But yeah, so Ash is on the computer. Or no, Ripley. She figures out, she decodes the signal. And then I think that's when Ash walks in or something.
Yeah, and he attacks her and tries to kill her by shoving a magazine down her throat.
I know, I think he was trying to suffocate her.
I suppose.
It didn't, I mean, like, you're a robot, my dude. Just choke her out or something. I suppose it was just for the dramatic effect, maybe.
Probably.
But yeah, even as a little kid, I'm like, I don't get it.
So where were they when that... Was that like his bedroom? Because if it's his bedroom, I have other questions.
No, I think it was... I would compare it to like a phone booth. I think it was like probably the office where the communication with Mother is located, like probably her main hard drive. Because back then, not everything was like it is now, or you can have everything on a cell phone. Everything, even back then, computers and stuff were all giant and separate.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it was probably the main hub of the ship to communicate with Mother and to communicate. Because you wouldn't really want all that on your bridge. You have like a special location where you go to communicate with Mother and to contact the base. Because you probably wouldn't want them interrupting you if you're on the bridge and you're working. You'd have, like, go to this specific location. Plus, it's more private, which is probably why Ash and stuff was using it. So that would be my guess. I don't think it was his personal quarters.
Well, the reason I had more questions is because if you look at the walls, there are women in various states of undress.
Well,
and it's like, if he's a robot, why?
I think it's more likely that the other men in the ship hung those up because
If it's not his bedroom, then I suppose that makes more sense. But I guess I interpreted that scene as happening in his bedroom.
it would be like, not maybe so much now, but, well, maybe so much now. If you've ever been in a mechanic shop where it's mostly men working, they have things on the walls of half-naked ladies all over, whether you can see them or not. Or like any man shed is going to have that. So my guess is the guys were bored. They live on this ship. While we're in here, let's just hang up some pictures. So that would be my guess. I don't think Ash was...
Yeah, that was the thing that was, I mean...
Unless he was
the magazine
really...
was more confusing, but like that...
Yeah.
Once you find out he's a robot, I was like, well, why do you
unless he was really trying to blend in by being like, look, I got naked ladies on my wall too, guys. Even though I'm an odd little guy and that doesn't fit my character at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could have a kink. I don't know. And then Parker, isn't he the one who rushes in next?
Yeah, because it isn't Lambert.
Yeah, not Lambert. Yeah, Parker comes in. And I like, though, that he immediately comes to her aid. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not like... There's not really any questions asked. Pretty sure he just charges in and sees him trying to kill her and is like, whoa, whoa. Because doesn't Ash in turn try to attack him?
Yeah, I think so. I think it just turns into a
fight, and then he gets takes a hit that kind of fries his circuits. Yeah, fries his circuits a little because he has like a seizure first where he's spinning and making weird noises, and it's like that where you're like, what is happening? And then
and there's some white liquid,
the milk, because they're synthetic androids. It's not like a Data in Star Trek, where it's just a robot, or like Star Wars. It's synthetic, so it's got the liquids and kind of like more organic, to it, instead of just being a flat out mechanical robot that's just controlled by wires, which is very unique. I don't know how often that had been done in shows. Because if you look at like Blade Runner, which Ridley Scott also did, they're synthetic androids too. They're not just robots. Like if you peel the skin off, like in Terminator, it's just an exoskeleton underneath and a bunch of cords, which you haven't seen.
Yeah. I've seen clips, but not the whole thing.
But yeah.
It's an interesting idea for a robot, because I don't think I've seen that in any other movie.
The synthetic thing? Yeah. I think it's more common now because it gives you the chance to try to mix humans and robots together, like in some of the HBO shows where it's like, what is, and also kind of like Ghost in the Shell, where you're like, what is life and what is a consciousness and what's a soul? But that's way off topic, so we're just going to go back to Alien.
They knock off his head and you realize that he is not human, and they did a really good job for most of that. Like, there are parts where you can tell it's fake.
Yeah.
But when
his head's through the table, and they're obviously filming him.
Yeah.
Like, and,
They did a really good job making it look realistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, with all the little bits and pieces that are coming out of him, and, just how they filmed it and how unique it is. Like I said, it's different. You don't see an exoskeleton. You just see organic pieces, and that's how he blends in so well with them.
And which, like I said, I haven't seen most of these other things that you're talking about, so that's more surprising to me when I've only seen robots that are
robots. Yeah. Robots that are robots.
Yeah. But yeah, they end up disposing of him with a flamethrower, and they decide the next step is to self-destruct the ship and use an escape pod. Just abandon this thing.
Yep.
But Parker and Lambert don't make it that far.
Nope. Unfortunately. So I hated it when my boy Parker got it. I was like, come on. Nope. Lambert's just there.
Yeah. So that leaves Ripley and Jonesy.
She goes back for that damn cat.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I would do that, because I love cats.
See, that's just
and
it.
I love Mr. Friendly, but would I go back and get him?
I mean,
I suppose chasing me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it depends the relationship, like the bond you have with this cat, because it makes sense they have a cat, because even though it's a ship in space, if they're going to be docked on a planet, they might have to worry about rodents, which is probably why the cat's there.
Okay.
And also probably just because petting a cat lowers your stress level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the crew, you're upset, here, go pet the cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know. If I thought of like Wyatt, the beagle, like, yeah, I'd go back for him. I'm just thinking about Wyatt in that situation. I'm like, yep, I'd go back for the dog. So if it was my cat, yeah, I'd probably go back for it.
Yeah, I think it probably would depend on how far away the cat was. Like, if I knew that I could get there really quickly, yeah, I'd go back. Like, if it was a long trek through...
Yeah, all the way on the other side of the ship.
I think I probably would opt for escape.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll say your name over the PA system, and if you hear me, you can just come to the ship and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, it's probably one of those situations where you don't truly know what you would do until you're in that situation.
Yep. And at that point, it's probably like, well, everybody else is dead, so might as well try to get the cat. So I'm not by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, the cat is really cute. I wouldn't have wanted him to die.
Yeah. Yep, probably go back for him.
She sets the self-destruct sequence and narrowly escapes and seems to escape the ship completely. She flies off in the little shuttle with the cat as the Nostromo explodes behind her. But it's one of those things where if you've seen other movies, you're like, that was too easy.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, that was where the movie was supposed to end at one point in the process.
There were like different... when I was doing my research last night, I found like 3 different like plausibilities that they had decided for it, and like the one that ended up making it in the movie is definitely the best one.
Yes.
And also the least like... One of them I won't even go into because I read it. I was like, what? Just less problematic and odd. Very odd.
Okay, well, when we get to the end, let's talk about it, because there's another one that it might be the same one, but I'm not sure, because there's another one I was going to talk about.
Is it with the alien sees her naked and he's like, ooh?
No, that is
nope.
not.
All right. Nope, not that.
No,
okay.
That's not what I did not see that one at all.
I read that and I'm like, it's kind of what they did in Alien Resurrection. Didn't work out then either. Why are you trying? Nope, don't do it. Nope, never mind. The other one was the alien like bites her head off or something.
That's the one that I saw.
Which, I mean, it would have been, if you wanted a dark ending, it would have been just fine. But you want the hero.
It would have made it into one of those movies that is why I don't like horror movies.
Yeah, I mean, and I can see if they would have shot it and done 2 endings like they do with some shows. They're like, if you don't like this ending, we got this one. You can go with either one. But I'm glad and I have a feeling part of the reason they didn't do it is because Halloween came out earlier and people were really into the whole the final girl thing. Because like it happens in Halloween when Laurie Strode gets away. Happens in Texas Chainsaw Massacre where she seemingly gets away. So I think that's part of it, is that its audience are very receptive to the final girl, or final woman in this case, getting out alive, because it gives you that hope instead of it was all for nothing.
Yeah. And I've seen some movies where it was all for nothing, and I was like,
this was a waste of my time. It's like, I didn't watch this to be sad.
Yeah.
I want to escape real life. Give me something to root for.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. First, we once again get Ripley in her underwear, which is, it is what it is. At least she's got a crop top on, I guess. And we see the alien, of course, it's stowed away on the ship with her, and before she goes into cryosleep. But I think it's really interesting that it's not attacking her.
I couldn't figure that out, but I was wondering if it was like stuck.
I think, and my original thought when I watched it was just like, if I'm here and I'm quiet, I can get to where she's going. But somebody online theorized that maybe it was at the end of its life cycle. Kind of like how some flies live really short. Like, as far as the alien knows, it doesn't know that the ship blew up, the Nostromo's gone. As far as it's concerned, it did its job. It got some new hosts, it taped them to the wall, and now maybe the facehuggers will come crawling in and continue the colony. So somebody thought, well, maybe it just went there to die.
That's actually a good point.
And then it doesn't attack until she physically starts to kind of piss it off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, I might be dying, but I guess I'll take you out too.
Yeah, because like if we're going back to all the ways that it's like bugs, that does happen with bugs. Like the queen outlives the entire colony. Like she just makes more and they replenish themselves.
Well, isn't there a species of moth that doesn't even have a mouth? Like they don't even live like...
Mayflies.
It's mayflies. They like hatch, they grow, they breed, they die.
In a day.
Yeah. So... But I mean, again, it also kind of contradicts the more Alien movies because the aliens seem to have longer life cycles. But we don't know that for sure. They all look the same. It could be a new alien every time we see it. But yeah, I always thought that maybe he was just like, if I hide here and I'm quiet, I can get her when she goes to sleep. But I also really like I just came here to die, leave me alone.
Yeah, I kind of like that explanation because it does make it more like all the insects that it's sort of like
an animal. Like it's not a horror. It's not Michael Myers out to kill you. It's just an animal.
Yeah.
That did its job that it's hardwired to do in its little brain because they're kind of like an ant colony, and now it's just looking for a quiet place to die.
Yeah, that makes sense. But though if that is how it ended up, she didn't need to blow up the Nostromo. It would have crawled off and died, and she could have flown the whole thing home.
Yeah, if they would have known that, but like
But she would have no way of knowing.
No, because they'd never seen these creatures before. They couldn't have been like, well, it's going to die in like 2 days, so let's just lock ourselves in one room, and it'll die, and then we'll be fine. But who knows? And it could be different life cycles for different xenomorphs. You know, like maybe the workers, like the low-lying ones, die quicker. The queens have longer lifespans, whoever's in between there.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, she runs to the other side of the room and quickly puts on a spacesuit before it climbs out of the wall. And she straps herself in and like sprays it with some kind of a gas. I wasn't sure exactly what that was supposed to be.
I don't know, mace. I don't know. Space mace.
She ends up blasting it out of an airlock, and of course it clings to the ship, but she manages to fry it with the rocket boosters, and it is either dead or just floats off into space and will die.
I'm assuming it died. They haven't really established that these animals can, withstand the vacuum of space. We're not like a Marvel movie where you just put on a face mask and you're fine. I would assume since it doesn't have oxygen to breathe and it's a creature that I would assume it would freeze and die like everything else would. It's kind of horrifying if it didn't. It's just floating out there waiting for the next ship to grab onto like Thor.
It's like those things in Star Wars. I think they're called like exogorths, the giant moon worm things.
Yeah, the worms.
And it lives in an asteroid.
As a kid, I'm like, I don't think that's how space works, but okay.
There's a lot of stuff with Star Wars I just forgive because it's another galaxy.
It's far, far away.
Their laws work different than ours.
Yeah, they don't follow. Kind of like Marvel. You get Star-Lord outside the ship with just his face mask.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I don't care if you got a face mask. You're dead. But anyway. But yeah, she blasts it out of the airlock and gets into the cryo sleep with Jonesy and sets the course towards home. She
records one final log entry. And that's where this deviates from that other one we were talking about, because the thing that I read said that their other ending that they had planned, which I'm glad they didn't go through with, was to have the alien bite her head off.
Yes.
And then it records which
in Dallas's
technically
voice.
That is a really good ending.
But can you
But not a good ending that I like. Like it's a whoa.
It's a
like Twilight Zone type of
It's
ending.
a comedy ending. It's like watching Venom versus Carnage and he uses the computer. It just doesn't work. It's in the comic books. But I just can't imagine the alien sitting at the computer with his little claws, typing away, and then like his mouth, which has no lips or tongue, and he's got does the second mouth talk? Does it like pop out? And it's like, rah, 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 rah. Because it said it was supposed to imitate Dallas.
Well, the thing I read said it was going to bite her head off and then take her voice to record
Jesus Christ.
Which, now that you say that it would be funny, it kind of would be.
It would be.
I didn't think of it as I didn't think too specifically on how it would work. I just thought of it like literally killing her and pretending to be her.
Yeah,
that's more horrifying, and it's a good Twilight Zone-esque ending. But like, it would kind of take away the drama if it was just like
it would be hilarious
speaking in her voice.
Especially if you saw its like little mouth moving. Like if they did it from behind and you couldn't tell what was happening, you'd be like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. But if they show the little second mouth pop out and it's like, this is Ripley. Like, what? And you would just be like, well, it's kind of like when you watch Signs. You get to the have you seen Signs?
Signs is one of my favorite movies.
Okay. And you get to the end and you see the alien and you're like, oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah, the alien.
All right.
I mean, I like Signs, but it's not specifically because of the alien that I like Signs. I like the movie around the
Well,
alien.
yeah, but you see it, and it just ruins the suspension. It's kind of like in certain parts of Jaws, where you're like, oh, that's a fake shark.
I think, for me now, I can see why you say that. Mm-hmm. But, like, back when I first watched Signs, I'd seen nothing like Alien. I'd seen none of these.
See,
it had much more of an impact on me in that way. But looking back, I could have done a little bit better with the alien design.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in theater with my best friend at the time, and we were both terrified. Because, we're in Iowa, we got corn. And it was just terrifying. And then you see it, and you're like, man. And then you're like, the water, and I'm like, there's water particles in the air. I think
that's true. I think
they were trying to do like what War of the Worlds did.
Yes.
But that made total sense.
That made more sense than water allergies.
I'm like, there's water particles in the air. What if it rains? What if they're in the jungle and it's raining and there's a monsoon? Mm-hmm. They're gonna be a melting out there like the Wicked Witch.
I don't think these aliens thought their plan through very well.
No. But anyway, we're just off topic again. Yeah, the ending I read about was that she strips naked and then the alien pops out and he's like, ooh, you're pretty. And I'm like, no.
That makes about as much sense as like, that's one of the things I have with...
typing at the computer.
No, I was just thinking of Star Wars again. That makes about as much sense as Jabba having a thing for human-looking women, too.
Jabba was just a pervert.
Yeah, like, why does Jabba like human-shaped people? He should like slug-shaped people.
No, he's fat-phobic. You don't like fat ladies. He wants the sexy aliens with their dongles. He looks at the other huts. He's like, I'm not into slugs. No. But no, that was the thing I read. And I was just like, gotta draw the line somewhere, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, draw the line. That would have been
a terrible ending.
Something similar does happen in Alien Resurrection, and the whole time in the theater, I was just like, no, why am I here? Why am I here? I'll give that movie one credit. The aliens look fantastic. But they drool a lot. A lot. Like, stop it. I didn't write it down. I am thinking 97 or 98.
Alien Resurrection?
Yeah.
97.
97, yep. But, okay.
So that would have been like 10, 11 years more advancement in special effects.
And you can tell for certain things. Mm-hmm. Like the aliens themselves, like I said, they look very shiny though, but they drool a lot for some reason. Like they're just constant like, and I'm like, can somebody give him a napkin? Why is he drooling so much? Help him. But, so is that for Alien, or did you have anything else? Or any closing thoughts?
It was good. I don't think I love it like you do, but
yeah, well,
I'm glad I watched it.
It's a good example of a suspense horror movie. Because it is very suspenseful. Like, when Dallas is in the vents, it's very suspenseful. Because everybody's freaking out. And you're freaking out, because you like Dallas. That's why it's very important for that movie, with the exception of poor Lambert, that you love these people and that you can tell that they care about each other. They have a very close bond. And I thought I read somewhere that they filmed all the beginning parts after everything else because they had already been working together for so long
Oh, that'd be a
that
good idea.
their own bonds with each other were stronger. And
Yeah.
and I know because I know they did that in Aliens too with all the Marines. They filmed a lot of the beginning last because they had been filming for months, so they all knew each other and they were more comfortable with each other, and so their friendship came off as more real.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's why, you know, when things happen to these characters, you care. Because you like them. Like, and nobody's like, other than Ash, like, nobody's a scumbag. Nobody's, you know, there's no, like, a lot of movies these days, they would have, one of them would have to try to rape somebody. You know what I mean? There would be something to, like, spice it up between them and add extra drama. But we
And
don't.
give them a real reason to be
Yeah,
eaten.
but we don't. Yeah, exactly. You cheer. You want them to die because he's a scumbag. But we don't need that drama here because we have an alien. We want to root for them.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like Halloween. You're like, just kill her. She means nothing. Get them. They're having premarital sex on the couch when she's supposed to be babysitting. Get her. You know, it's just how those movies are. It's just like the trope that horror movies have. You do certain things, that means you're going to die. But this movie avoids those tropes. You don't have them. One, because, yeah, like you said, they're all older. But we don't need them because we've got this thing that's hunting them down, and we don't know why. It's just, yeah, I love it. I think it's just such a great movie, and it's just so fun to watch, and there's just so many little things. Like, one thing I forgot to mention was the sets for the Nostromo. They built each set as one piece to help with the claustrophobia. So if you wanted to go through these sets, you had to go through the whole thing. There were no openings on the sides. There was no extra lighting.
Oh.
And like the people filming, like they didn't want that. They're like, we need places so we can come and go. And they're like, no, this is going to be one whole thing. And you're going to have to go through the whole damn thing to get to the other side.
That's a good idea.
It is, because it helps with the claustrophobia. Because then you also, you don't need any unnecessary cuts. I love long shots. I'm a sucker for a good one shot with no cuts. And that's why another reason why these movies are so suspenseful is because when Ripley's coming down the hallway, you don't need any cuts because there's this set keeps going. So you can just follow her in this one long take. Like, and then it builds the suspense because it's like, we're not cutting, so where's the alien?
Yeah.
And it is a hard pick between this and the next one. It really is. It kind of depends on the mood.
Yeah.
Like, you want to watch a horror movie full of suspense, or you want to watch an action movie with horror elements.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what Aliens is.
Yeah. They were both really good. Like I said, I'm not sure how I would pick a favorite because, like, I don't absolutely love them like you do. So I'm just trying to, like, pick which one I would like better than the other. And they both have elements that I like over the other one for different reasons.
Well, and the one thing with Alien is what you can't deny is that it did change the way movies are made.
Oh, yeah. While watching it, I can see, like, how it influenced other things that I already know I like.
Yes. It literally, it's kind of like Jurassic Park in that way. To quote the Joker, you changed things. And this is one of those movies that definitely changed things. Like, you hadn't seen an alien like that in any other movie before that. Like, if you look at some of the movies that came before Alien, like, they look like, you're like, wow, really? That's your... It's kind of like when you watch Jurassic Park and you look at any dinosaur movies that came out around that same time. It's heaps bigger.
Yeah. And this is totally off topic, but like with Jurassic Park, you can tell that they've influenced how other people imagine dinosaurs too. And the most egregious example is now, I don't know, it's like a 50-50 shot whether it's going to be like a scientifically accurate Dilophosaurus or if it's going to have a neck frill.
Yeah.
It's like they must have seen Jurassic Park and just assumed
that they had neck
that
frills.
they have neck frills.
I mean, and like...
Which I like the neck frill idea.
I do too. I mean,
but that's not There was no scientific basis for that.
No. I mean, I know they based him off the little bearded dragon and his little neck frill, but if you're going to be honest, if Dilophosaurus, we're way off topic now, but if Dilophosaurus had a neck frill, it's not going to be used for the way they used it in the movie. Mm-hmm. It's either going to be used to scare people away, like the bearded dragon in Australia. Is that what it's called, a bearded dragon? The little thing in Australia that runs after you.
I think it's called a frilled lizard. Bearded dragons don't have the frill.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the pets. The pet store. Yeah, the little Australian guy who frills it out. He's going to do that to make himself look bigger, or in the case of Jurassic Park, when he frills up, it's very colorful. It's for mating. He's going to frill that up,
kind of what I figured.
Show his colors, and be like, "Hey, look at me, I'm sexy." It's not going to be a threat because it gives away your advantage on your prey. Mm-hmm. You frill out, you're all colorful, he's gonna see ya and run. So, okay. On to aliens. No more little dinosaurs. Ran about dinosaurs for hours, but not today. So Aliens came out in 1986.
The year I was born.
Oh, God. Has the R rating as well, but this is more of an action movie, and it's directed by the great James Cameron. Oh, I should mention, Ridley Scott also directed my favorite movie of all time, Legend, which I will make you watch someday.
I didn't realize he directed that.
Yep, he directed that, Blade Runner, Legend, Thelma and Louise, Gladiator, and then Hannibal. He directed a whole lot more, but those are my personal favorites of his movies, especially Gladiator. Have you seen Gladiator?
No.
Oh, Jonathan. Anyway, so now we jump to Aliens with James Cameron, who, of course, is famous for The Terminator, which you haven't seen. Mm. The Abyss, you have seen.
I love The Abyss. I was going to say
Terminator 2.
That's the first thing that comes to my mind is The Abyss.
Terminator 2, which is just perfect. True Lies, Titanic, Avatar, and a whole load of other things, including the new Avatar movies that'll be coming out. So you get these two directors who are two of the... They're not... I would say James Cameron is... probably up there like with the Steven Spielberg kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Ridley Scott, I think in his heyday absolutely was. He still is a great director, but like I said, he's helmed a couple of these newer movies and in my opinion, they're not the best. But James Cameron seems to really he knows how to film an action movie. Mm-hmm. He knows how to set that up.
He knows how to build worlds, too.
Very much, yeah. This definitely has a lot more world building in it than the first one.
That's one of the pluses in favor of this one. Even though, like I said, I like how you don't know pretty much anything in the first one. I do like how much more you learn in this one. Well,
and it also, this movie, like Alien had 2 Oscar noms, and it won 1 for... art. It was nominated for art direction and visual effects, and it won visual effects. Aliens was nominated for film editing, sound effects, sound effect editing, which it won, art direction, music. Sigourney Weaver was nominated as Best Actress in a Leading Role. It was the first time ever somebody in a horror/action movie had ever been nominated for that. She didn't win, but it was still a massive thing. And visual effects, which it won, and also sound. So it was just nominated for a lot more, because of course their budget was bigger. Mm-hmm. But just the fact that Sigourney Weaver was nominated for Best Actress in not only a horror movie, but a sequel. So we know how the Oscars hate sequels.
Yeah.
I just always loved knowing that she was nominated for that. It would have been awesome if she would have won, but that's okay.
Yeah, and the fact that this is a sequel, you automatically think, it's not going to be as good. But, in some ways, it's better because they really upped their game. James
Cameron is really good at making the sequels, shockingly awesome, which would be, The Terminator is a great movie, but it doesn't... You compare it to Terminator 2, Terminator 2 is a much... it's just... I can't even. Jonathan, gotta watch it. It's so good. But T2 is, the Terminator is very kind of more dark, and T2 is just a whole nother level. It's such a good movie.
Is it like this, where it's sort of like a horror in the first one and action in the second one?
They're both pretty actiony. I actually haven't watched the Terminator as much as I've watched Terminator 2, because it's more kind of drab and like it's more story based on like having to come back in time and do all this crap. And T2 is more like, well, that didn't work. And plus, you know, you get Arnold, and you get a different version of Arnold in the second one. But yeah, James Cameron is definitely very good at making those sequels that are just, you know, he ups it. He ups the ante, and he's very good at it.
Mm-hmm. Well, with this one, we should probably go through the cast, and I'm not going to go through the entire cast because it's much bigger.
Yeah.
And half of them I can't keep straight anyways.
I only wrote down a couple people's names because I'm like, there's way too many people in this, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have Sigourney Weaver, of course, and then the one main soldier guy who I think he's there through the...
Michael
Is he
Biehn.
through the rest of the movie, Hicks?
Yep, Corbett Hicks. He is also
Is he the one that survives to the end?
Yep.
Okay.
He's also stars in The Terminator, which is how him and James Cameron knew each other. Because
Okay.
he was filming, he had just finished The Terminator. It wasn't even in theaters yet when they started working on this.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, Michael Biehn is Corporal Hicks, who's awesome.
Then you have Paul
Reiser. Yep.
As
Burke. Yep.
who is the
Douchebag
guy from the company.
from Weyland-Yutani.
Yes, who he seems nice at the beginning, but at the very beginning, even I knew there was something off with him.
See, it's kind of like the complete opposite with Ash.
Yeah.
Like Ash, you don't suspect anything until, like I said, you watch it again. Burke shows up and immediately you're like, all right, this guy's corporate. I don't trust him.
He's trying too hard to be nice.
He is. He's trying very hard to be nice to win your trust.
And then you have another android, Lance Henriksen as Bishop.
Bishop, MVP.
Yes. And then there's a little girl in this one, Carrie Henn as Newt. Mm-hmm. And then you have Bill Paxton as Hudson, which the Hudson and Hicks, I couldn't figure out who was it.
Rip Bill Paxton. He is so good in this movie.
And then the other person that is the only person that stands out was Vasquez,
Oh,
Jeanette Goldstein.
yeah. She plays a Hispanic person, but she's not Hispanic.
I kind of wondered about that.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
It's one of those things where I was like, never time, whatever.
Yeah, that's just it. That's just it.
It would not happen that way today.
No. But she's pretty badass, though. So, I mean, she plays a badass lady.
Yeah, she's one of the few that I actually liked.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's Hicks and Hudson are just awesome. And then you can't forget...
Oh, there was the guy that was scared of everything, too. What was his name? I'm sure I wrote it down somewhere in my notes.
I don't remember his name, but...
He kind of redeems himself, sort of.
I was thinking of Al Matthews, who plays Apone. He's the guy in charge, the black guy.
Oh, the guy who's chomping on his cigar.
His
the whole
cigar.
time.
This guy.
It was like he was eating the thing.
It did. Well, that was like a man thing. Like if I ever get you to watch Predator, you'll see it was like a 80s like man thing. But he was a real life Marine. He served in Vietnam. He had 2 Purple Hearts. He had 13 combat awards. He was like one of the first black men to be like to get upped in his station. And they hired him on there because they wanted the Marines to go through real Marine training. And then he was on set. And so then they told him, anytime we're doing something wrong, you tell us. And he did. Which is why they're so convincingly Marines, because he was one too. And I love that. I love it when they incorporate people who actually have lived experience to be on set and filming with them and tell them that you're holding the gun wrong. You're doing this wrong. You know, this is how they would actually act together as a group.
And not that that's something that they would have had to worry about then, but like you avoid people on the internet tearing your movie apart like, you're holding the gun wrong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because in the thing I watched, he flat out said, in the movies, they have them running around with their finger on the trigger. No. I'm like, that makes sense.
You could accidentally
What if you
shoot it
trip?
off. Yeah.
You shoot the guy in front of you.
Or your own self.
Or your own, yeah. Good job. That'd be me.
Which that has happened. In real life, there are people who they don't need a gun, but they're wandering around with one and they accidentally
Shoot their foot. Yes. Because their finger's on the trigger and the safety's off. But yeah, it's a much, much bigger cast. And that's not even including the people on Earth. Who don't matter very much.
They're at the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Well, this one opens seemingly not too long after the other one has ended, except she's in her pod with the cat and everything is covered in frost. So that was kind of a tip-off. That was for me. I was like, I wonder how long she's been floating there. Mm-hmm. But then you find out after that she's been taken to a hospital, I guess back on Earth. I don't think it's another...
No, I'm pretty sure that she got found and taken back to Earth.
Okay. The one thing that made me question that was when she's sitting next to that screen with the plants. Mm-hmm. I was like, is that to simulate being on Earth? But I wasn't sure.
I don't know. Maybe it just was...
a thing in the hospital.
Yeah,
maybe.
It was probably just to make it look less clinical and sanitary and look, everybody likes a good houseplant.
Mm-hmm. But then you find out it's 57 years later. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I thought was interesting, Sigourney Weaver's mother makes a cameo as a photograph of her daughter.
Yeah.
Because her daughter has grown up, got married, and died.
Yeah, that's really sad. They cut out part of that when they talk about your daughter died, she had cancer. You promised to be home for her 11th, because Sigourney Weaver says, I promised her I would be home for her 11th birthday. Mm-hmm. And it's been 50 some years. Her daughter has died since then. And this is very important for how this movie plays out, that she was a mom and she lost her. Because to her daughter should be 11.
Yes.
Her daughter should still be alive, not here's your daughter as an old lady who died from cancer. To her daughter should still be alive and should be just 11 years old, which is why it's very important that that is set up so you understand why things happen the way they do later.
That would be such a shock, mind blow to find somehow you've stayed the same age and everyone you know is old and died, yeah. You might have grandkids, but they're not going to know you and you're not going to know them. Mm-hmm. For part of this, I don't know if I actually watched the right version because I was watching it and then I was reading and they were talking about a scene in an extended version and I had seen that scene, so I think I saw some kind of extended version.
You might have watched the director's cut.
Okay. So some of this I don't know if it was in the director's cut because this first scene back on Earth, I was wondering if this is something, because it seemed like something that they could cut out because it turns out that she's had a dream.
Oh.
And I was wondering, was that in the original? Because it seemed like a scene that would be put into a director's cut.
I think that is in the original because they're trying to establish her PTSD.
Okay.
Yep, which you would obviously have from this.
Well, then that also slightly confused me because there was some things revealed in the dream that I was wondering, okay, is that actually true? Like the 57 years later.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was actually 57 years later because she finds that out before she wakes up.
Yeah. I think the way it's cut together makes it a little bit confusing. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure the dream is in the theatrical cut because it adds a jump scare.
Oh, yeah. She has the alien inside her.
Yeah. It just adds as a jump scare. Oh my God, did that thing lay an egg and it hatched before she got in the cryo sleep or whatever?
Yeah, because when that happened and before I knew it was a dream, I guess I assumed, because I didn't know that they were going to go back to the same planet where they found it. And I guess I assumed that the alien was going to be on Earth.
Oh, right.
So when that happened, I was like, oh, that's how the alien gets to Earth.
And then you're like, oh, nope, it's just a dream.
Yeah. But then in the dream, which I'm assuming the dream is based on something that happened in real life, because that's where you find out 57 years later. But that's where you meet Burke. And he introduces himself as somebody working for the company. But don't let that fool you. I'm really an okay guy. And that's your first red flag.
I'm a nice guy. Wink.
Nice people don't need to tell you how nice they are.
They really don't. It's a red flag.
Yes.
And Ripley ain't no fool.
Yes. But yeah, then the alien tries to jump out of her chest and then she wakes up.
Yep. I'm guessing it was just kind of a combination of what she had. Or I don't know. To me, it kind of seems like it's cut together funny. Mm-hmm. But I know that the thing about her daughter is an actual thing. Because, like I said, it's a very important part of her character.
Yes. But then after the dream and finding out about her daughter, she's like, I guess, being forced to do some sort of a deposition in front of the company. Like,
Well, she blew up like $1 billion ship, so they're like, that was worth money. You know how corporations are.
yeah, but my thing was like, it's been 57 years. Get over it.
Yeah, but it's money. They're not going to get over losing that money, and it's also going to lead into ultimately what they actually want.
Yeah.
Which is information from her that, in fact, there was an alien on that planet.
Mm-hmm. But they act like they don't believe her story, and they're mad about the ship being destroyed, so they strip her of her pilot's license. And I think they like send her for like a 6-month psych eval.
Which, to be fair, therapy.
Yeah, she needed that.
She needs it.
Especially if the dream is something that is going to be plaguing her. But then you find out they don't believe her story because people have been living on LV-426 for 20 years, terraforming the place, and they haven't seen anything. So obviously she's lying.
Yeah.
So at that point I was like, okay, they're probably going to end up going back to that.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I know where this is headed.
After this is a scene that I'm fairly certain was added in because it's sometime later and you're back on LV-426 following this family.
Okay, you did watch the director's cut because this is not in the theatrical cut.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So this family discovers the ship that they found.
The derelict ship.
Yes. And the dad gets face hugged.
Yep, this is cut. I'm pretty sure that scene is cut from the theatrical, and I like that that's cut. I like that we don't see this happen. It's more suspenseful when you get there and where's everybody?
Oh, okay.
Like, us watching it, we're like, well, the aliens got him, obviously. But I think it's more fun that you don't see this moment happen with poor little Newt, with them being sent out. Because I think with this, the way it is when Ripley confirms that there are eggs on that planet, I'm pretty sure the Weyland-Yutani company sent people to the derelict ship. And that's when.
Yes.
Because they didn't bother
later on in the movie, I didn't notice this the first time. I noticed it last night. There was a line, and I don't remember exactly what it said, but like it basically said that the only reason that they found the ship was because of her story.
Yeah.
So they sent people to find that ship.
Which makes sense. I mean, you're on a planet. If there's a ship somewhere, you're not going to just find it. I know the original concept for art for Alien had the eggs in a pyramid. Like, they weren't in that ship, but they couldn't afford it because of the budget, which I'm glad I saw the concept art. I didn't think it was that great. But, if you were on a planet, you'd see a pyramid. But a little ship compared to the rest.
Well, especially because I'm assuming that the ship is very far away from where they set up their colony.
I would assume.
And that it's far enough away that they have not explored out to that level. So once they get their orders like, hey, there's supposed to be something there, go further, that's when they find it.
Well, especially if they're terraforming, they're not going to go explore on a planet where you can't breathe the air because you're going to have to bring all your equipment with you. It's more like we're going to stay here, set up, get everything so that we can live here, and then we'll go on. It'd be like if you settled here and there was a ship in Omaha. Yeah, you're not going to know it's there because you're not going to go there. Yeah. So
it's not even an hour away, but it's far enough away that if you don't have a reason to go there, you're not going to go there.
And the landscape of that planet is very hostile.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like you're walking through a field. You have to navigate rocks and canyons, and you're like, we'll stay home. It's fine. I'll stay here.
But after that, you go back to Ripley. She has a new job at this point. I don't remember what the job is. I didn't write it down. But they want her to come back. And they want her to join them on this mission to the colony because they've lost contact. And they want her as an advisor.
Surprise Pikachu face. Them wanting her as an advisor is AKA, we need you to go out there and die.
Basically.
Because you know about this, and we can't have you here. And it'll look less suspicious if we send you off to help people.
They probably wanted her to help, but they're hoping that she's not
That she'll
gonna make
die
it
while
back.
she's out there, yeah. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, Burke later on basically confirms that.
Yeah, well, even if that wasn't the company's idea, it's definitely his later on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she agrees, but only if they're not going to collect anything and they're going to exterminate everything.
And Burke's like, we're not gonna. Wink.
Yeah. So then you meet all of the Marines as they're on their way. And like I said, most of these characters annoyed me.
I didn't mind them. I thought they were entertaining and they were very kind of colorful people. And like I said, Al Matthews, who plays the guy in charge, you know, I felt like he kind of really pulls it all together to make it very believable.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they're just a bunch. I know that they said when they filmed this, they had them read Starship Troopers. And then a lot of this is very much based off Vietnam. So a lot of these characters and stuff are based.
Oh, that makes the one line that I really hated make more sense, where they're going to rescue the colonists from their virginity.
Yeah, it's very much like hard based off of like Vietnam.
Okay, yeah.
So like it makes sense when you watch it because you're like Apocalypse Now and stuff. You're like, okay, I get it. I see where they got this.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of like when you watch like Kong and stuff, like all those Marines and military people, they all act like this because that's how they, well, Vietnam's just such a big thing. Mm-hmm. And so, but yeah.
And just the fact that they're all so braggy about everything, even though they have no reason to be braggy.
Yeah, they're very full of themselves.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure if you put them in a situation without acid blood aliens, they probably would.
Probably.
Be kick ass and hold their own. But they're very, and it goes to show like how confident they are in what they can do. Mm-hmm. Which is why when the aliens show up and just start taking them out, you're like, it's kind of like maybe we are in over our heads because this is nothing we've ever dealt with before. Kind of like what Ripley's crew went through. It's almost the exact same thing, except they weren't trained warriors.
Yeah.
But, it was just a complete, we've never dealt with this before. Mm-hmm. What do we do? And we've also been abandoned on this planet. It's not like we can call home for help.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, I think part of the reason that they made them annoying is because you're less likely to care about them when they get munched.
Yeah, you're not going to feel quite as bad. You're going to feel bad for them, but you're not going to... It's not like the original crew where you're like, no, not Parker.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, well, I don't know which one that was.
Yeah, really. I could not keep any of them straight. I knew Vasquez and then Hicks and Hudson. I knew the names, but I couldn't remember which was which.
Yeah. And plus when they're all like in their military grade, they all look the same because they're all dressed the same.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, during this scene, you also discover that one of the crew, Bishop, is an android, which Ripley is not happy about.
Because he does the coolest knife trick that all of us tried to replicate, and it did not go well.
I mean, it went better than it would if I tried doing that.
We used to do that in school, with butter knives, obviously. But like, let's do the hand thing and stab the knife between your fingers.
I don't think I tried it, but I know I've seen people do it, and I was like, I'm not doing that.
To get the butter knife instead of the steak knife.
Yeah, it would be a lot safer using a butter knife.
But yeah, he nicks himself, and he's got the white milk liquid.
Milk.
Yep.
But then you have a scene here that gave me question about how much the company actually knows, because they call the alien a xenomorph, which I was like, when did they give it a name? Because they act like they know what a xenomorph is.
Well, actually, I wrote down, okay, it's actually, I don't know if it's Latin, but it means strange form. So I think it's kind of like UFO.
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So, because I know there is another name for those things, but kind of like the Predators, they have an official name, but I can't remember what it is. I think it's in the comics, but I think generally people just call it xenomorph.
Okay.
Because it means strange form, which, like I said, it's probably the equivalent of UFO.
Okay.
Like, we don't know what it is. It's weird looking, though. It doesn't look like us. Instead of saying alien, too. Mm-hmm. Because it's not. We're on their planet, or whatever ended up happening on that planet. So, it's just, it's strange form. So, my guess is it's just the name they slap on things of, we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
If the other movies would have gone a little bit different with the prequels, I could have a better answer for you, but I don't.
That makes sense. But when I saw that scene, I was like, how do they know its name?
Yeah, and it could also just be a slip up in the script too.
It could be. I don't know. Eventually, a bunch of them get on a drop ship to go down to the planet and find that the base has been abandoned. And there's a bunch of facehuggers in jars, some of which are still alive. And they find the little girl from the earlier scene, except this time she's alone, and her whole family is dead.
And she looks like she's seen better days.
So does her doll.
Yeah. So does her doll, and she doesn't want to talk.
And they scan around, find out that the colonists are in a nearby power station, which to me, I was like, why would they all be clustered? I mean, I suppose maybe they think they're hiding, but I was like,
yeah,
that should give you pause if every single person is all in the same spot.
Or all the living signatures you can find are in one spot. You've got this one little girl here, like they didn't come back for their kid?
Yeah.
Or she didn't call over there for help? Like, what's the protocol? Why would they all be here? You can't tell me that's the protocol.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they just are like, oh, look, there they are. Let's go.
So they go out to explore to find them, but then they realize that the place they're heading to basically runs on nuclear power, and if they start shooting, the whole thing is going to blow. So they make them get rid of their bullets. So that's fun for them.
It's another way to get the guns out of the situation.
Yeah. So they're left with flamethrowers. They didn't get rid of all the guns because you end up having some shooting, but they don't blow up the nuclear reactor at that point.
Though I would think a fire would also have an issue. If I learned anything from Chernobyl, fire also would probably affect a nuclear reactor, but minor details.
I'm assuming that they're far enough away from the actual core that it probably is fine. But like a bullet, if it gets shot, would like punch through and set something off.
Yeah. I suppose it's kind of like when they have them on spaceships and they fire a gun and it goes through the hull and you're like, I think that should be tougher, but okay.
Yeah, the movies where they have guns on spaceships, it's not really a good idea because you don't want to be shooting your spaceship full of holes.
No.
But they eventually do find the colonists, except they're all dead, except for one. At least I'm assuming the rest are dead. The one that they found is near dead, and she has an alien inside her.
And they've all been cocooned onto the wall with all the weird alien secretions. And it's a really, from a horror creepy standpoint, it's a beautiful scene. Like just the special effects and how they filmed it. Because I know they took H.R. Geiger's alien designs and all that other stuff. But then James Cameron, he designed the ship and all the human stuff and the alien queen, which is why there's such a juxtaposition between all the human stuff being so clean and sanitary and bright. And then they have H.R. Geiger's designs, which are so...
That's a really good way to design two different species architectures.
Yes, because usually when you watch movies with like aliens and stuff, even like Star Trek, it all kind of looks like...
You can tell that the same people have been working on all of these things.
Like they go off the Enterprise, which is bright and clean, and they're on the Borg ship, which is dark, but it's still got all the same kind of architecture and blinky lights and sounds. So yeah, this I really liked how drastically different the human stuff is to what the aliens have done to the human stuff.
And it makes sense to have somebody that has such a weird imagination design an alien species like that. Because, I mean, most people kind of get the same ideas when they think of, like, aliens and stuff. But this guy had an interesting brain. So having him be the one to design all this stuff really makes it feel alien.
Yes, it's very, very alien compared to, like I said, what the human stuff looks like. It's just, there's no comparison at all. You can't really look at the alien stuff and be like, oh, I've seen things like that, because you haven't.
You definitely
You haven't. It's completely different from, you know, if they would have modeled it off like a beehive or a wasp nest or even something, our brains would have been like, oh, okay, I see what they modeled that after. You see,
Yeah, but they take those ideas and twist them in such a way that it's no longer recognizable. Like
No.
once you said like this 3-step life cycle, once you reminded me of like a butterfly and caterpillar, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the way that they've used those ideas,
the way they kind of mashed it with like the
Yeah.
wasp thing I said
it
before.
makes it so alien.
And it's also not something a lot of normal people are going to think about. Like,
No.
you're not going to watch that and be like, oh, it's like a butterfly, or
No.
it's like that wasp I read about at 3 a.m. one time when I couldn't sleep, you know?
Yeah, no.
Normal people are like, oh, that's weird. Because it is weird, because it's alien. It's different. That's the whole point.
Yeah. But yeah, this one colonist is briefly alive until the alien pops out, and then they flamethrower it before it can fully get out. But that alerts all the other aliens in the area, and they're suddenly being picked off one by one. And not much they can do about that, because they don't have their bullets anymore.
No. But the aliens in this movie look so good.
They look a lot better than the first one.
Yeah, the design for the suits, because they had to be more flexible because they're doing more in this movie instead of just creeping around. And they look just so good. I was just so impressed with how good they look. Because they look alien. It's like you've never seen anything like that before. You look at them and they make no sense. Like, I don't understand the body anatomy or anything. It's just so strange. And that's the point. You've never seen anything like that before. They're supposed to be strange. They're supposed to be unnerving,
Yeah. And I'd read that for most of the aliens, they got, like, dancers to do them.
Well, that makes sense.
And so that they can, like, be super flexible and...
And graceful in a very
especially
strange
when they
way.
have to run.
Here, put this on. Here's the head. Don't trip, please. This cost a lot of money.
And from what I've read, they had different costumes depending on what the scene was going to be. Like, if the alien needs to run, they've got a much lighter version that the dancers wear.
Yep. Just like in Batman versus Superman, they have different bat suits for different things Batman has to do. Because it makes sense. You need more flexibility.
Yeah. But yeah, most of them are picked off at that point, but Ripley manages to save a few by driving their giant vehicle thing in there and getting some of them out. But they don't escape unscathed because, like, they shoot the aliens, which they do manage to kill them, but they have acid blood, so some of them get wounded from the acid.
Which would just be I'm going to shoot this thing. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Nobody told me this.
Yeah. But after this, Hicks is now in charge because everybody above him is dead.
Yay, Hicks. We love Hicks.
So Ripley says that they need to completely evacuate and just nuke the place from orbit. And Burke is so against this because this colony is a huge investment and...
You're going to cost us more money, Ripley. You already blew up one ship. Now you want to blow up a colony?
I like how he also makes this weak excuse, like, we have no right to exterminate this entire species.
And you're like, could you be more transparent? I mean, they did pick a good actor for that role because Paul Reiser is known for his, like, romantic comedies. I don't know if you ever watched Mad About You with Helen Hunt way back in the day, but that was the kind of role he played. Like, he played like a goofy romantic comedy, just kind of like
I can see that.
Yeah, so to have him in this role, I think that's part of the reason why, is because you wouldn't expect somebody that you had seen in other movies who's always just been kind of a good guy, an everyday kind of guy, to be a douche who's out to bring aliens home.
Well, he seemed like he was supposed to be a good guy, but like I said, he seemed like he was trying too hard to be a good guy.
Yeah, he was,
which is a purposeful choice on his part.
His narcissism is not quite as top tier as it should be. He can't, he's not very good at lying.
Yeah. But Ripley shuts this down and says that this is a military operation, Hicks is in charge, and they're not going to save these things. So he calls for an evacuation, but the ship that is going to get them out has already been infiltrated by aliens, and the people that are left on the ship are killed off, and the thing crashes in front of them. and they're stranded.
Game over, man. Game over.
Yeah.
Best line from the movie.
So they go back to barricade themselves into the colony. Bishop tells Ripley that Burke has ordered the removal of some of the specimens. They're going to make bioweapons with them, which of course they are.
I know. It's just, I know back then this was not cliche yet, but it is now.
Yeah. Yeah. Somewhere in here is also where there's that line that made me realize that the whole finding the ship was planned by the company. So Bishop tells them that the ship that just crashed, I guess somehow part of it must have hit something and the cooling system is damaged, and eventually the whole place is going to blow up.
Oh, that's right. It damaged the nuclear core that they were trying not to damage earlier.
Okay.
So the place is going to get nuked no matter what.
Yes. So he goes off to get the last ship so that everybody can escape.
And since he's an android,
Yes.
he can do things they can't do.
Yes.
And they might also not. I think also part of the thought was they might not hunt him because he's not alive.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if he gives off a heat signature since he's an organic android, but he's not.
He probably would smell different to them if they can smell.
Yeah, which I assume they can. But I don't know if an android would be able to harbor an alien, because if it could, you'd think Ash would have just done that.
The alien could drink its milk from the inside.
Yeah.
Or whatever that
The alien
stuff
would be
is.
like, oh no, this is not the working environment I wanted.
And then this is where they're locked in the lab. I guess they fall asleep on like a bed in the lab, and they wake up to find loose face huggers. Burke is behind this. He's left them in there, locked them in, because he wants them to get aliens implanted in them.
He wants them to get impregnated.
So that they will get frozen into stasis and then bring them back home alive. And then they will die after the things break out. Which is such a stupid plan, because he's already seen what these things can do. Why does he think that they're going to be able to contain these once they're on Earth?
He is in line for a bonus and a promotion, and I'm making this up, but it sounds right. And if he brings them back, he'll get that flying Corvette he's always wanted, and money.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably close to the truth.
And I absolutely love this scene because it is so suspenseful and so freaky, and the puppeteer for, the alien face hugger is so well realized, because we actually get to see it crawl across the floor. Mm-hmm. We see it move. Before we just saw it jump. Yeah. And in this case, we can see how they could sneak up on their prey. That they're not just mindless little,
Mm-hmm.
They look like horseshoe crabs. I swear to God. I'm pretty sure that's what they're based off of.
Probably.
But, we can see that they have an instinct to do this, and they're gonna do it. They're gonna get you.
Yeah. They eventually do rescue them, though, and the Marines are about to waste Burke. But then the power goes out, and the aliens have breached the colony. They're inside. They start picking off the rest of the people that are left. And Burke tries to escape, but he's caught pretty much immediately.
Well, he goes into a back hallway, separates himself from everybody, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he locks everybody behind. I guess I'm assuming that he thinks that
they'll all
he's left them to get eaten first.
Yeah, and that he'll give him some time.
But, you should have just been expecting that the aliens are not coming in a group. They're probably coming in multiple directions.
It's a swarm. If you had a swarm of ants, they're gonna be from everywhere. Any crevice they can get through.
Yeah, so he's gone now.
There is a deleted scene where they find him.
Alive still?
Well, cocooned.
Oh, okay.
And I think can't remember if he's got a face hugger or if he already had one, but I'm pretty sure they put him out of his misery. Because I think him and Ripley have kind of a talk or something, and she kills him. I don't remember, actually. I don't remember if she does kill him to put him out of his misery, or if she just leaves him you can suffer now. I don't remember. All I know is there is a deleted scene where they do find him all cocooned up and ready for whatever.
But the rest of the people end up getting separated off into like two groups. There's Ripley, Newt, and Hicks in one group. And then I think Vasquez, Gorman, and Hudson is what I've got written down. Like I said, I can't really...
That sounds right.
I wrote down the names people were saying.
Yeah.
So, like I said, some of them I couldn't keep apart. I think Gorman is the one who is freaked out about everything.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
But he ends up sort of redeeming his cowardice because he and Vasquez take like a grenade or something, and then they both together.
And then Hudson gets pulled through the floor. Poor Hudson.
Okay. Yeah, so they blow themselves up to kill a bunch of aliens and save everybody else, which it does take out a lot of them, but it's not like every single one yet.
But it's a good enough distraction to give them a head start.
Yes. But then Newt ends up falling down some kind of shaft, like there's some sort of water wheel thing that she falls through, and she ends up in this pool below and is taken by an alien before they can get to her.
That moment when that xenomorph comes up behind her is perfection.
At this point, I was like, are they really going to kill off a little kid?
Nope.
Most movies will go out of their way to protect kids. Usually women too.
Yeah.
These don't. But like, at that point, I was like, are they going to kill off an actual child?
Yeah. But then, it goes back to that whole mother-daughter thing that Ripley has been building with Newt this whole time, getting her to talk, brushing her hair, then getting to know each other and her taking care of her as her daughter. Because I think Newt's supposed to be around that same, probably a little older than 11. I don't know how old she's supposed to be in this movie. But yeah, when she's standing in the water with her little doll and the xenomorph silently just rises up behind her, you're just like... I'm pretty sure as a little kid, that may have been one of the moments that I was like, oh my God, that's scary. But it's such a beautiful scene. Just the puppeteering and the aliens just look so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they had killed her off, then it'd be one of those where it's like, I immediately don't like this movie anymore. I don't like it when the main characters that you really like die and there's nobody left. Like, I suppose if Ripley had escaped, it would have made it a little better, but like, I don't know. I don't have a thing against killing off kids, but like, and she's the only kid, and she's the one that Ripley is so attached to. That would have just ruined it to have her get killed.
I'm laughing because this leads into Alien 3 and the main problem with it. You want me to tell you?
Sure.
Alien 3 opens up with Hicks and Newt being dead.
What?
Why? There was a face hugger or something got in with them when they escape at the end, and so the movie opens with her shuttle crashing on a planet, but they're already dead. Yeah, see, the look on your face is why we're not going to watch it.
Why would they even think that that's...
Yeah, see? See? It just makes this whole movie obsolete, the fight she goes through in this movie.
This is such a stupid analogy, but this is why I absolutely hate the movie Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Okay, I haven't seen either of those movies, but you go off.
Whenever that movie came out, my brothers and I loved the first Paul Blart Mall Cop movie. It's just dumb, but it was fun.
Well, yeah, it's Kevin James, right?
Yeah.
He's funny.
And he ends up with this lady at the end who's really nice. I think her name is Jama Mays. She's in other things that I liked at that point, too. So I really liked that they had them end up together. But then the next movie opens up with his mother dying and her leaving him.
Yeah. You're just like, what was the point?
And I haven't watched either of those movies since.
It's like every 80s show or like James Bond show or like the early Mission Impossibles. They get the girl at the end and then the next one they got a new one. But... yeah, that's the main big issue with Alien 3 is we go through all this to save them, and they just kill them.
That totally ruins it.
In the beginning credits too.
That is so stupid. Why would they even think that's a good idea?
It's not a good movie, Jonathan.
I can tell. I remember at some point reading that they wanted to like have a sequel that would like erase some of the ones they've already made. Is that what they're trying to fix? No. Or is that even a thing?
No, that's not a thing.
Okay.
I think that's why they're doing prequels. Because they're like, we've screwed up so much, we'll just like show how all this started. Okay. And then you watch them and you're like, what?
Well,
Why?
if they wanted to like make a new sequel to fix that, that sounds like something that needs to be fixed.
Well, honestly, I think if they wanted to do that, I would just erase Alien 3 and 4 and just pick up with Alien 3 light years in the future, since obviously all these actors are adults, are older, very older now, and have them having lived a happy life or some crap like that. But yes, just because you were so passionate about Newt making it, I was like, well...
Well, at least it didn't happen in this movie, and I know
No.
what to expect if I ever decide to torture myself.
I would suggest you just go on Chris Stuckman's YouTube page and look up his Alien 3 analysis and review and just watch that.
Okay.
Because he goes into like behind the scenes and how the studio got in the way. I would just watch that instead.
That makes sense. The suits never have good ideas.
No.
They ruin everything.
They do. So I would watch that instead. But anyway, back to Newt getting taken and...
Yes. She is taken, and at that point, Bishop arrives with the ship and says they have 26 minutes to escape, and Hicks is injured, so she leaves him with Bishop and goes back to find Newt on her own.
Fun fact, the 26-minute countdown is actually 26 minutes.
I wondered about that. That's I like it when movies do that because you can
10
always
seconds is
tell,
10 minutes?
Yeah, whenever they cheat the time.
Yeah.
It's annoying when they don't actually.
Well, because
do
you're
the
like,
right
the
time.
countdown's on, and you're like, big deal.
Yeah.
But this movie, yeah, they actually did the 26 minutes, last 26 minutes. So kudos to them.
Yeah. She eventually does find Newt trapped in alien goo, and they've laid some eggs next to her to have her get face hugged when the eggs hatch.
Get face hugged. What are you going to do? I'm going to face hug you. Oh, no.
And one does hatch, but Ripley kills it and other aliens before they can actually get to Newt. And then you realize that they're actually surrounded by a lot more eggs than just those. They're in this huge nest, and the alien queen is towering above them.
The Queen! All hail the Queen. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. I have some things about her because I love her so much. She was over 14 feet tall. She was operated by over a dozen puppeteers, control rods, hydraulics, cables, and they needed a crane to hold her up because she was so heavy. They also used things like garbage bags and stuff to make her look the way she looked because, you know, she's kind of shiny. And James Cameron designed her, and she's one of the most beautiful aliens I've ever seen. Her design is just perfect. And she's got such a I love her attitude.
Yes, she is absolutely huge. And I don't know that I would describe her as beautiful, but the design is amazing.
That's pretty much what I mean. It's
Yes,
just like
yeah, I
the
know.
design is just... And I'm a sucker for good puppeteer work and, you know, practical effects and just the way she looks. Like her crest, you know, is just so cool. And the way her mouth, her jaw, like, dislocates. And she's just so obviously different
Yeah.
from the workers. Like, there's no mistake. You don't even need to see the egg sac
Her
attached.
giant thorax / ovipositor thing.
Yeah, her giant thing lay over there squirting out eggs. You don't even need to see it to know that, wow, this is not like one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this scene is where, like we talked about, Alien and then aliens influencing other things. This scene reminded me of Season 3 of Doctor Who, the Christmas special with the Queen of the Rachnos.
I'm sure I've seen it.
She's like a centaur but a spider.
Oh, yes. Okay. I was going to say, there's a lot of Doctor Who. Kind of all blends together. I do remember that scene. Yes.
The way this plays out with Ripley torching the place, blowing up things, it reminded me of that scene, and I'm wondering if they kind of took inspiration of that, not just because it's like the queen with babies, but like her reaction, like screaming as the babies are being killed.
Makes it sound like we're the bad guys. We went in there, we killed her babies. She was screaming. But yeah, I bet they did.
Yeah.
I bet they did, because it's a good scene. Like, the way and I do distinctly remember as a little kid having dreams about that scene. Of, like, the aliens coming in and her threatening them with the blowtorch and the queen telling them to back off. You know, because Ripley, you know, Ripley's a mom too. She's got her kid, her little adopted Newt. The Queen's a mother too. You know, you got these two moms facing off. And Ripley's like, I will kill your kids if you don't let me leave. Or if you don't call back your drones. Which is what she does. She tells them, back off, she's going to fry my eggs. Which, I mean, she does it anyway. But
Yeah. At that point, the alien kind of gets down and detaches her ovipositor egg sac thorax thing.
I don't need this. It's just going to hold me back.
And they escape, but she's following them.
Such a tense scene.
The whole place is like blowing up around them, and Bishop is nowhere to be seen at this point yet. They take an elevator up to this platform where Bishop was supposed to be, and they now have nowhere to go. But then the elevator's moving again, and so apparently the Queen has figured out how elevators work because she took the elevator
Velociraptors
up.
can open doors,
Yeah.
then Alien Queen can... I mean, it makes just about as much sense as a Velociraptor opening a door.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, they hit this button. I got it.
So she's taking the elevator up, and she's coming after them. And just as she's about to actually get them, the ship arrives, and Ripley gets Newt on the ship, and they fly out just in time for the whole place to go nuclear. And then they get back onto the main ship that's still in orbit.
The Solanco, I think is what it was called.
I don't think I wrote that one down.
Sulaco, yeah.
And they disembark, but Bishop is suddenly impaled from behind because the Queen hitched a ride, just like in the first movie.
She uses her barbed tail to skewer him like a shish kebab, and he vomits milk everywhere, and you're just like, oh shit. I think that was like my response. Oh my god, like you knew something was going to happen. You just didn't know it was going to be that. And it's leading up to one of the greatest face-offs in movie history.
So the Queen ends up actually ripping Bishop in half.
With all his noodle guts.
Yes. And she goes after Newt, but Ripley tries to distract her and ends up going after her with, I think they call it a cargo loader, but it is more like a mech suit forklift.
It's a mech suit, yeah. It's like it's a big mech suit that she used earlier in the film. They kind of, you know, it's not like she just knew how to use it. Like earlier in the film, she uses it to help load the ship up to show that she knows how to do crap. So her using the mech suit's not like a surprise. Like, how'd she learn how to do that? She's not a Mary Sue. She just already knew how to do it.
Well, in the earlier scene, too, she said something about having a loading license or something.
Yeah. You know, they worked on a mine ship. It makes sense she would know how to use heavy equipment, even if she was one of the officers or whatever.
And I liked that they had this thing. Like I said, it's like a mech suit / forklift, and I think it makes sense that like a forklift might eventually evolve into that in the future.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, I was like, why don't we have something like that? Like, that's a really good idea.
And I don't know how much this would solve that problem, but I've seen videos where forklifts can actually like tip over if they like lift things up that are too heavy.
Or the guy doesn't know what they're doing.
So maybe that would be something that this design could solve.
Yep.
But yeah, they end up having this battle with the mech suit and the alien queen.
Oh, you forgot the quote.
Oh.
Get away from her, you bitch.
And I feel like that has been parodied in other things too.
I'm sure it has.
I don't know what it would have been, but I know I've heard something like that before.
That's one of those moments that if theaters reacted like they do now, everybody would have just thrown their hands up and screamed, because they'd have been like, yes, get her, Ripley.
I'm sure somebody did at some point.
I would hope so.
I feel like I've heard stories of people cheering at the original Star Wars, so they had to have cheered during this
I'm
time
sure.
too.
I would hope so, because it's such just an epic moment. You know, Ripley comes out and she's like, because Newt's hiding under the floor tiles and the Queen's trying to catch her, but it's hard to catch a little kid when they're, you know, and she comes out and she's like, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight you for my kid.
Yeah, it's a great idea to use this thing that's supposed to be a forklift, but it's basically a mech suit. It's the perfect thing to fight this thing off with.
Yep.
So they have a battle, and Ripley tries to, like, force her to fall down this shaft thing to, like, an escape hatch, but she ends up falling down with her.
The airlock, yeah.
Yes. So they're both down this thing, and she's trying to climb out while this queen is, like, struggling at the bottom.
Yeah, the mech suit crushes the queen. So Ripley gets out of the mech suit and tries to climb up the airlock to get out.
And it does grab her, but she still manages to get out and open the hatch so that it gets sucked out while she's holding onto the side. And Newt is almost sucked down in there too, but Bishop is actually still alive because he's a robot.
He's a robot, yeah.
So his top half is
Grabs
holding onto the floor
the
and
ground.
her at the same time to save her from getting sucked out into space.
Well, because it makes more sense that he would be able to hold on to her since he's a robot. He would have more strength. Ripley hanging on is, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know, you're flushing out into space. But we don't want Ripley to get sucked out too. That'd be horrible. That'd be like killing Hudson and Newt at the end.
But yeah, the queen is sucked into space. Ripley closes the door, and then the film ends with them all going into stasis for the ride home.
Yep. It's kind of funny
and the
that...
third movie never happens.
No, it doesn't. It ends right there. It is kind of funny that the aliens do kind of die in the exact same way, but how else are you going to kill it?
Yeah.
Without the blood. The blood is the issue. Like, you cut its head off would probably kill it, but then your ship's gonna dissolve. You're gonna have that much alien blood's gonna...
I don't think, even though I noticed similarities between the two, I think that they changed enough that it didn't bug me.
Yeah, like, if she would have burned it up with, like, the thrusters or something, you'd have been like, wait a second, I saw this ending. Is this just repurposed footage?
Yeah. No, the fact that they threw in the load lifter mech suit thing, that made it way different than the first one.
Yeah, and I like that when Ripley and the Queen are fighting, it's not like a fast fight.
No.
It's like barely even really a fight.
Well, really, if you're in something like that, the thing is not built to be a fighting mech suit.
No, and like Ripley's like main priority is to keep the head away, which she does, and to stop the tail.
Yeah, and really the queen too. It's not like the queen is built for fighting. The queen is built for egg laying.
She's the egg layer. She's built to give orders and to lay eggs. Like you can tell the difference. Like she still books it. Like she moves really fast. But like her agility is nothing near the drones. She can fight, she can bite, and she's got her tail, which is like, I think probably her primary source of self-defense is the tail. I would imagine that in the xenomorph colony, if there were two queens, they would probably duke it out just like bees and stuff do. So the tail is probably the main way that they would probably fight something out. But yeah, it's like, it's not like a big action-packed, fast moving fight. It's just more like a wrestling match of Ripley trying to drag this queen away, and the queen not really understanding yet what's going on. She's just trying to kill Ripley so she can kill everybody else and go back to her nest, which would have blown up anyway. But
yeah, she probably doesn't even realize that the whole thing.
No, to her, it's just, this area is no longer safe, so we'll probably have to move the colony somewhere else. I don't think they have quite the intelligence to know. Now, if the one at the end would have sat at the computer and typed up the email, then I would say that maybe she has that intelligence. But they thank God didn't do that, so...
She has enough intelligence to get into an elevator and get to the right floor.
I'm telling you, velociraptors and doors, I'm fine with it. I'm all right with it, She probably was just mimicked them, like, hit the button.
Yeah, probably.
Or maybe she'd even watched other people use it. They're smart creatures, so maybe before they wiped everybody out, maybe she saw how elevators worked. But I do like that moment, because you're like, what the hell's coming up in the elevator? Oh no, it's the alien. Oh crap. Because you expect her to like Spider-Man crawl up, but she's a queen. She didn't get time for that.
Really, from a practical movie making standpoint, it would be a lot easier to have her just take the elevator rather than
try to figure out how to show her convincingly climb.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to just cut to her showing up. You wouldn't be able to show.
Because in 1986, CGI is basically used for buildings, not creatures.
Yeah, like the space scenes and like the colony and like wide shots. Though I know they did do a lot of miniatures for that movie.
That would make sense.
Yep, they did a lot because they filmed in England, I think. or Great Britain somewhere. And they said the weather kind of kept interfering, but then they just worked with it because the hostile environment of the planet and the hostile environment of where they were trying to film. So they said eventually they just made it work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, that makes sense because you can tell when it's a miniature. But I'll take miniatures, good miniatures, over a lot of CGI any day.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is amazing because of the miniatures.
Yeah, because of the miniatures. It's also why the Hobbits movies are not. Because they went full CGI. I think, like, one of the main takeaways for the movie, like, for me, is that we start off with Ripley, and she's a survivor, but it's clear that she has PTSD, and she transforms through this movie. Like, in the first movie, she's not a hero. She's a survivor.
Yeah.
Like, she does what she has to do to get out of the situation. This movie, she literally thrusts herself into the fire. And so she, like, goes from being a survivor and a victim to a warrior and a hero. Because the first movie, everybody's gone, and she goes back for the cat, and she tries to help people. There's not a lot she can do. And in this movie, she literally just, when she's in the elevator, gunning up, getting ready to go fight, that's such a great scene because she's changing from, you know what, I can let this thing kill me, or I can march in there. Literally, like, march into hell and save the people that I've grown to care about. And, you know, become a warrior and a hero to get these people out of there. I think that's part of why she got the nomination for Best Actress because, you know, she doesn't overplay it. She's not, like, hysterical. And she's also not a Mary Sue. Like, she has to learn how to do things. She makes mistakes. But then she, you know, by the end, like, she could have just left him. She could have left Newt. Like, they say, like, Hudson and them are like, just leave her, she's dead. And she's like, no. You know, she could have, when Hicks gets hurt, she could have left him. She could have grabbed Bishop and said, we're leaving. Get on the ship. They would have been gone. They could have blown up the colony. But instead, she decides, you know what? I'm going to save as many people as I can because I wasn't able to save my crew. And now she's got this adoptive daughter since she never got to see her kid again. Yeah, it's just a very good look at how she transforms through this movie.
Yeah.
And then they throw it all away. All away in the stupid sequels.
I still don't know why people would think that's a good idea.
It wasn't it's the money. It's the name. You know, Alien is a big thing. Like the number of comic books and novels. And like I said, the video games. I guess Alien Isolation, the video game, is like, I don't think it's canon, but it's the story of her daughter looking for her, and she, like, encounters a ship of aliens. I guess it's a really good video game. But I don't know if it's on... I don't know what it's on. I've never played it. I just heard that it's very, very suspenseful and very, very good. That's the kind of movie I want to see. But what are your overall thoughts for Aliens?
I really liked it. Like I said, trying to pick a favorite between the two is a little hard because they both have good aspects between the two. Like, I really liked, with the first one, I liked the small cast. It's a lot easier to figure out who's who when there's only 7 people.
Yeah. The smaller set, smaller cast.
Yes.
One alien.
Yes. The set design, the mood, like, the music or lack thereof in scenes made it really good.
Yeah. This one has a little bit more music. I think James Horner did the music for this one. Yeah, he did.
But yeah, with the second one, I do like that it's more action, less horror. I like the Queen design. It's really cool looking. All the sequences, like fighting the aliens, is really cool. I'm not big on most of the characters, like I said.
Yeah.
I like that they saved most of the characters that I actually liked to the end, and they killed off the annoying ones. Except
for Hudson. Poor Hudson. Everybody loves Bill Paxton. He had some of the best quotes in that movie. I often say, game over, man, game over. I guess somebody said that he came up with that on the spot, which I could totally see him doing. Yeah, it kind of depends. Like, do you want action or do you want, like, horror suspense? Because, like, my mom, hers is Aliens because of the action. She loves action. And I often, my opinion is usually Alien, but it's kind of hard to pin that down, because if I sit down and watch Aliens, I'm like, oh my God, this is such a good movie. Turn around and watch Alien, you're like, oh, this is such a good movie. So it's kind of hard. It's like, I could just say they're tied, but I usually say it's Alien just to make my mom mad. Because she'll argue. She's like, no, it's not.
It's one of those things where it's like two halves of the same story, because really the Aliens continues right where Alien picked up.
It pretty much does,
or
yeah.
left off. So it's one of those things where if I was to rewatch them, I don't know that I would pick one or the other. I probably would just watch them both.
And even though there's quite a bit of time in between the two movies, I think you easily could watch them one after the other and not notice too much difference.
From her perspective, no time passes. So it really...
Yeah. I meant the design of the ships and stuff.
Oh,
it's not like when you watch the prequels for Star Wars and then you go straight into A New Hope and you're like, okay, we've got models and puppets here and then we've got CGI here. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like the special effects and stuff between the two, because the first one is so claustrophobic and on like just two locations, they're pretty good. Like, I don't think you'd get too much whiplash, other than like the aliens being more agile, but then you also have more than one. Mm-hmm. But like otherwise, like the egg design and like the face huggers, other than them being able to move more because they had more money for puppeteers and stuff, they all pretty much look the same. I'd say Aliens has less like gore, and when I say gore, I mean like the way they filmed with intestines and all that stuff. Yeah. Like, it's not quite as evident in the second one because we don't get to see the insides of the aliens as much. And like when the egg hatches, they don't show what's in there. You just see the face hugger come out. Mm-hmm. So there's less like organic, grisly, disgusting, dead things. Yeah. So, which was one of the things I do like about the first one, because I'm strange, but I just like how they take all these things and piece it together. Mm-hmm. Like for the face hugger, when they're doing the autopsy, how they have like the oysters and the shellfish, they have all these things and it looks like an actual creature. Like, that could be real. Look at it. It looks really real. And I bet it smelled really, really bad.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that, as gross as it is, I guess it's preferable than to have them make like a completely plastic puppet.
Yeah.
Because, it's not as gross and smelly and nasty, but it doesn't look real.
Yeah, some of the best horror movies I've seen are the ones where they use a lot of that real stuff. Mm-hmm. Like in John Carpenter's The Thing, they use a lot of real guts and gore and bits and pieces of animals to like make the puppets and the creatures and the aliens and the deaths all look more real. And apparently it did smell really bad on that set.
I would assume so if they're building puppets out of actual dead creatures.
And it takes days to film and stuff like that. But when
like something that PETA would have a huge problem with.
Oh, PETA probably wouldn't like it at all. But, like when they do autopsies, like in Alien, you're like, that looks like it's real. Well, that's because it is. It's not a puppet. It's an actual, they just put like a stomach in there. And you're like, yeah, it's pretty gross. Mm-hmm. It's the little things. Nowadays, you watch a horror movie and you're like, that's CGI blood. That's fake blood. The blood splatter. You couldn't do a blood splatter. Last time I watched a horror movie with CGI blood, I was so disappointed. I mean, the movie wasn't good, but I was still like, that blood spray's fake. Couldn't even do a blood spray? It's not real blood. Why'd you CGI it? It's just so sad.
Then they don't have to hire a mopping person.
I guess, but it's like quote Jurassic Park, just because how's it go? Like, just because you could do something, you didn't stop to think about if you should. Yeah. It's kind of how I feel about CGI anymore. Like, did you stop and think just because you can that you should? No.
Yeah, I prefer when they try and use practical effects over CGI.
Yeah, because like
CGI has gotten to the point where sometimes you can make it look indistinguishable, but for the most part, I can tell. Yeah,
like I'm really nitpicky, as you know, when it comes to like movies and stuff, and very rarely do I watch a movie, and I'm not talking landscapes, even though those you can usually tell too. I don't really pay attention to like wide shots with CGI because, you're not going to find a location to shoot on sometimes. I'm like, that's fine. But like when they do close-ups and stuff, you're just like, why'd you do that? Like, that's fake. Like, you could have done better. But that's why these two movies are so good, because it's before they started relying on CGI.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the third one, they did CGI. And it's not good.
Mm.
Like, the alien, you're like, man, you still got those costumes, right? Like, can't you just... Yeah, the third one is when... And I think they tried to do 3D. It's kind of like the fourth Jaws movie. Is it the third or fourth one? Maybe the third one. Where they did CGI shark and they kind of shot it in 3D. So when you watch it not in 3D, you're like, holy hell, what is this? And it looks really... Like, the CGI shark still looks really bad. And then they have like the mechanic shark, which somehow looks worse. But yeah, Alien 3, it's got like one like scene that is like good. And it's Ripley's got her head turned and the alien's coming up right here.
Oh,
I've seen that. That's like the only shot from the whole movie that's worth anything. Otherwise, the rest, it's just bad. Like they show the alien like running along the corridor and it's just bad CGI in cahoots with a bad movie. You're like, this whole thing's not good. It's just not a good movie. There's nothing fun about it. Like, at least Aliens had humor. Like, Alien didn't. Aliens has humor. You laugh a few times. This movie, there's nothing. Mm-hmm. It's just, you're just sad when you watch Alien 3 because there's so much potential and they just flushed it down the toilet. The budget for Aliens was $18.5 million, so not much more than the first movie. Mm-hmm. But it seems like the bigger the budget, kind of the worse sometimes these movies get. Because they go bigger. Mm-hmm. Like, Aliens did bigger right. You had a bigger cast, you had more aliens, but it was still very contained. Mm-hmm. And they didn't, like, overtop the gore. Like, there's more disturbing imagery. Because I feel like the disturbing imagery in the first movie is the artwork on the walls. If you look at it real close and you're like, holy hell, what are they doing? But the second one, you know, you get more shock value, but you don't get a lot of gore. But the next Alien movies purposely go out of their way to do over-the-top, ridiculous gore.
Sounds like even more reason that I wouldn't like them, because I don't like when people just throw in a bunch of gore just because they want it to be shocking.
Yes.
And a lot of times I feel like, and this isn't like for every movie, but the lower the budget, the more creative you have to be.
It's true. You have to be more creative because you don't have the money. So you have to imply things or do more suspense, and you use your money sparingly.
And this is sort of similar, but not the same. But I had this thought last night because after I finished all this, I had drank a bunch of coffee, so I was still wide awake. There was a new movie on Disney Plus that I wanted to watch that I kept hearing about. It's called Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
I've heard of that.
It's like, it's a family movie, but it's by The Lonely Island, who are not family friendly. So it's Andy Samberg is like the main person behind The Lonely Island, and I think he's hilarious. I love him on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah,
he's great on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I haven't watched him in anything else.
But I was thinking while I was watching Chip and Dale, like everyone expected this new Chip and Dale movie to be an absolute train wreck. It was like a
kind of like Space Jam 2.
Yeah, but this is not Space Jam 2. Space Jam 2 was...
I am not going to watch it.
Most of the time, I can forgive a lot. Like I would say it's like, it's fine.
It's fine.
I don't think I'll ever watch Space Jam 2 again.
Yeah,
I had some scenes that I liked, but that's it. Yeah. The rest of the movie was stupid. But I feel like the new Chip and Dale movie, even though I did have a few issues here and there with it, it was way better than anyone expected. And I think part of that has to do with, like, because I mean, this is The Lonely Island. They make a lot of really dirty jokes, adult jokes.
Right.
But I feel like giving them a family-friendly movie and forcing them to work in that medium, it forces them to be more creative
with their dirty jokes.
Well, not even that. Just like, I don't think there were really any dirty jokes. There might have been one or two. That
no, I'm sure there was. Really most kids' shows have a few that the adults are like, oh, and the kids are like, I don't get it, but it's funny.
But it just made them be a whole lot more clever.
Creative, yeah. Yes. Creative and clever.
And I feel like that's the same way with, like, budgets. Like, they have an idea, you give them a budget, and it's not as much as they want it to be, but they need to work within that budget. And sometimes you end up with a much better film because of that.
And also because they don't have a lot of money, like this doesn't really apply to some of the older movies where they filmed on sound stages and location. But like nowadays they would just throw up the green screen and fake it. Kind of like how Star Wars is finally learning, maybe we shouldn't CGI everything.
Yeah.
Like look at Mandalorian.
Yeah, the latest Star Wars stuff has been so much better than... Like, I don't hate the prequels, but they were very CGI heavy.
But the prequels are looking better and better every day, I tell you. But, yeah, it's just too much CGI. You don't need it. Like, people like puppets. They like stuff that you can physically touch. Like, you watch Alien and Aliens, and you're like, that alien looks real because...
It was.
It was. It's not CGI. Like, when it's touching people or in their face or, like, sneaking up behind them, like, it's a real thing. It's a dude in a costume, yeah, but it's not a CGI thing. Like, you can pause it at any time and it's not going to be a blur because it's animated.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get screen grabs because it's an actual person moving. You know, like you pause some CGI heavy movies and it's just a smear on the screen because it's animated and you're like, oh dear, that doesn't look good. You know, and like yeah, sure, the ships look kind of funny. You know, the modeling and molding of like the miniatures and stuff, they're not the best. But Star Wars was coming around that time, and Star Wars was like the big thing for... I think Star Wars came out right before Aliens, or Alien, yeah, because it came out in 79. And it kind of helped get this movie made. But Star Wars also upped the ante of how spaceships should look. So, like, when you watch Alien, you're like, oh, the ship looks okay. It's different. But it's not, like, the coolest thing. Yeah. But that's okay.
I didn't really think of it as being a bad design because it's, like, it's not supposed to be some cool sort of space fighter.
No.
It's a mining ship.
It's a mining ship. Because a lot of people are like, the aerodynamics. I'm like, we're in space.
There's no air to be aerodynamic
It's fine. It's moving just fine. And I'm pretty sure when they get home, that's not landing on a planet either. So I'm pretty sure it's just fine. But yeah, I'm glad we finally got this done. It's only been like 3 months.
Well, from actually watching the first movie, it's been over a year, I think.
Has it really? Jesus.
Because I think, I don't know for sure, but I feel like after we watched it,
didn't you?
There was the news about Yafed dying, and he died. I looked it up. He died in March. So I think we watched this in March of last year.
That sounds about right. Because then COVID and everything too, kind of put a B in everything. So yeah, that's probably right. Yeah. And then you switched jobs, and that was a whole
That's what really delayed us.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have as much freedom to do things whenever.
Well, and then you have the other people you collab with that also took up a lot of, took up time too, which, like I said, I'm fine. Canceled plans for me. I'm like, even if I want to do something, I told Mom, like, we could be going to the zoo and I could be looking forward to it. And if you called me and you were like, I can't go, I'd be like, okay. Put my jammies back on.
I know the feeling. I can be the same way.
Yeah. It's like, it's cool. It's like, it's all right.
The only one that it would be like really disappointing is if it was like an actual vacation, like we're traveling and suddenly that gets canceled. Yeah, then I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, because you've already made all your plans and paid for everything. But
like a zoo trip, man, we'll just do it another time.
Yep. But yeah, so yeah, it was good to talk about these two classics. Yeah. You know me, I like to talk about movies, so.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I like doing these in person. Like I like talking to my friends on the internet, but I don't know. I think sometimes doing it in person makes it more of a more fun back and forth.
Yeah, well, especially if there's like a delay.
Yes.
But yeah, the other movies though, like sometime, we'll have to do like Legend because I love that movie, and it's another Ridley Scott movie, and also a movie that should have been PG-13 but that didn't exist then, and Predator because it's so much fun. It is so much fun, and it's so simple. Again, with Alien, it's a simple plot. Simple plots are almost always the best, unless you're doing like a mystery. But like, keep it simple. We don't need to go kind of like Jurassic World. It's not a simple plot. What Jurassic Park is, very simple. Jurassic World had to add all the extra crap.
And then the
Aliens
second
does
Jurassic World.
And then, like, Aliens kind of does it a little bit when they want to take the aliens back for war things. But they kind of didn't get into it too much.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like Predator, it's just such an easy plot. It's just like, this is it. And you're like, okay, I don't need to think too hard as I watch this. Because it's fun. And it also has one of the coolest looking alien designs ever. Just such a good design. And it's canonically tied into Aliens, which is where you get those crappy Alien vs. Predator movies. I don't get it. I don't.
So that's probably where we're going to end for today. So we will plan something, and you'll be back for something. We'll decide what.
In a year or two.
Probably. We might watch the thing in a couple months, but then we'll see when we actually record the thing.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, do you have anything you want to say? Do you anything you want to plug?
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
All right.
Well, until next time.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this podcast on the Joncast Network. We'll be back soon with another episode, but in the meantime, make sure you follow my co-hosts. I'll have their links in the description, along with links to all our latest episodes, all my socials, and my Patreon, where you can find bonus and extended episodes, and get early access to most episodes, sometimes up to a week in advance. Make sure to subscribe to this show on whichever podcast platform you prefer, and follow the Joncast Network on YouTube for more podcasts covering all kinds of things beyond just what you'll find here. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you again soon.